Yo, I need a little help starting the stream.
I see you streaming. You're live right now.
Oh, I'm live. Oh,
Yeah.
dope. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Bye.
Alright, bye. Alright. Wow, I didn't know I was live. Okay. Cool. Let me just make sure that I can see myself before I start teaching. Just to make sure that we all good here. All right. Cool. Sorry, I'm just gonna make sure I get everything situated before I start my class, just so I can see you guys, in case there's any comments or anything like that. Oh, cool. All right. Nice. All right. Well, welcome to those who are part of the stream. My name is Coach J. And I'm part of a program that I started called Knowledge Breaking Crew. You can check me out at knowledgebreakingcrew.com. I've been breaking for about 8-10 years now. It's an honor for Dance Music Initiative and Make Music Day for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for taking the time and coming to the stream and checking me out. So this is going to be Breaking 101. 101, that means it's going to be basic stuff. I'm not going to be doing any crazy stuff like head spins or anything that takes a lot of practice to do. What I'm going to provide is a little bit of perspective on just what we want to hear from DJs when they're spinning. From a breakdancer's perspective. Now, why b-boys? Why breaking? Why am I here for the whole DJ initiative? Now, if you know the hip hop culture is actually broken up into 4 elements, right? It's MCing, graffitiing, DJing, and b-boying, right? I provide the b-boying aspect. Make Music Day and DMI provides the whole DJing aspect, right? But all together, we all intertwine and make a beautiful thing called hip hop. And the hip hop culture is going strong to this day. I believe that with b-boying and DJing still around, that we still have a lot of the original roots in breaking or in hip hop in general. And that's why I'm very lucky to be here and kind of teach a little bit from a dancer's perspective and all that good stuff. But before I do, I'm going to be showing you guys a little bit of breaking, right? And breaking is broken up to another 4 elements of breakdancing. There's top rocking, footwork, power moves, and freeze. All right, again, that's top rock, footwork, power moves, and freeze. Now, what I'm going to be doing for this stream is I'm going to be teaching you guys just a little bit of a simple routine that you guys can kind of take anywhere. And what else is going to be going on is in between me teaching, what goes through the mind of a b-boy or a b-girl when they're listening to the music at a battle or at a cypher or at anywhere else that they're listening to music, if they're dancing by themselves, if they're dancing with friends. Just some stuff that we kind of go through in our heads when we're freestyling, right? Freestyling, ciphering is an art form that is just like rap off the top of the dome, just moving. But what's cool about this is a lot more active, right? So it's just active work on the spot, on the fly. Yeah. So what I'm going to be doing is going to be going over some basics. I'm going to be spinning some tracks from some DJs, right? And I'm going to be naming some DJs while I'm playing these tracks, right? And if you guys are in here for the DJ aspect, I'll be giving some names. This first DJ is DJ Legionnaire. He's from Russia. We're playing his mixtape called Special for Your Skills. All right. While I'm doing so, I'm going to be playing the music and kind of give you a little bit of what we listen to on top of that. Here we go. Hope you guys can hear me. Well, now a lot of what I just did right now is called top rocking, right? Top rocking is everything that we do standing up, right? It's a lot of like, it's a conversation starter, right? It's the way that you show off your freshness, how fresh you are in the cipher when you come out, your confidence, your style. It's kind of like presenting yourself in a presentation, right? This is like in a conversation where this is me saying, hello, my name is Jason, and I'm going to show you a little bit of what I can do, all right? So let me just break down a little bit of top rocking for you, yeah? Top rocking, again, is all standing up, right? One of the most basic top rocking that you can do, it's kind of what we call an Indian step, right? You're just stepping across your body, boom, here, right? Now, it's all about the feet, right? Here, boom, here, stepping across your body, boom, and boom. And now, what your feet do are kind of like, it's just kind of staying on the balls of your feet, that means your toes, right? But what your hands do is kind of like whatever you want to do, right? And that's your conversation, right? So you know how when someone talks, they talk with their hands, and they're very animated when they talk, right? It's the same thing that happens to top rocking, right? This is me showing off what I can do, right? So common like hand gestures would be like hands on your waist, hands on your head like a visor, shooting your arms out like this, right? Pointing at your opponent, right? Calling out somebody with your hands, right? Some common things. And yeah, so top rocking, it's gonna look like this. It goes cross, and cross, and cross, and cross, and yeah. So tying that into DJing, right? What b-boys like to listen to is like a boom cats, right? There's a current artist named Logic, and Logic likes to talk about like the boom cats or like the boom bat, right? The boom bats. So that's what we kind of like to listen to, right? That's all it really is, but there's a different boom bat pattern to every song, right? But that's what we kind of listen to. Okay, so I'm just gonna say boom, bat, boom, bat, boom, bat, boom, bat, and boom, cat, boom, cat, boom, cat, boom, cat. Nice. Now with DJs, right? What they like to do is they're gonna kind of play around with the boom bats, right? As a b-boy, you have to recognize what are the patterns of these boom bats, right? how can I rock to this music? How can I feel the music out and kind of like listen to it, right? Bah, boom, bah, boom, bah, boom, bah, right? And obviously with DJ, you can like slow the tempo down, you can speed it up, right? It's up to the dancer to kind of incorporate what we do into what the DJ is playing, right? So the DJ is kind of like, you know, you guys are kind of the generals of the floor, right? We're the soldiers kind of reacting to what you're telling us to do, right? But you're not like telling us like, oh, I want you to dance like this. You're telling us with the music, and it's up to us to interpret what we're doing, right? So like, I'm gonna go, like, I'm gonna switch up the tempos. I'm gonna go boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, or boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba. Yeah, ready? Here we go. And 5, 6, 7, 8, go boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, 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 and boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, and boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, and boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, faster. Here we go, and a boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom. Slow it down, and boom, pa, boom, pa, boom, pa, boom, pa. Yeah. So it's up to how we want to rock to it. Now, DJ Legionnaire and a lot of like breakbeat DJs, obviously they're very profound, very famous because of what they do and the artistry that they have. So they like to play around with the boom pat, right? A common like, I guess intricate boom pat would be like a boom boom pat pat boom pat boom boom pat pat boom pat, right? And as a b-boy and a b-girl, we listen to that and we kind of rock to it, right? So a common way to kind of dance to those boom boom pat pat boom pat, right, is something called up rocking, right? Which is if you guys have ever seen the movie Beat Street, right? In the opening scene, you see like two crews kind of come together, right, in the New York subway, and they're just kind of like up rocking battle, right, where they're dancing on their feet and kind of moving up and down, right? So like you'll see something like boom boom pa pa boom pa 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 boom. Yeah. So that's a lot of what we like to react and we like to do and we like to hear, right? I think one thing that that makes a advanced DJ to like an amateur DJ is if you can keep those boom pats, right? Keep the bass guitar and keep it going, keep it flowing, make transition from song to song, right? So one of the original DJs, I don't know if you guys know this, DJ Qolaj, one of the first DJs in the hip hop culture, like probably one of the grandfather of hip hop. He was notorious for on the fly changing from one disc to another and transitioning it so seamlessly so that the party just keeps going, right? So that's one thing that as b-boys we like to kind of just rock that out and keep the party going and keep practicing, keep dancing at parties, and yeah, just to express ourselves and kind of show off and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm gonna continue playing some music, and all I'm gonna do is just top rock, right? Now, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna do the same top rock here, just stepping across. I'm not doing anything different, right? Again, this is breaking 101. Yeah, so it's all just basic stuff. And you guys can all go ahead and follow along with me. But one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start changing direction, right? I'm going to act like there's a cipher around me, right? Just doing the same move, right? I'm going to add a little bit of up rocking in between. Yeah, so maybe you guys can kind of notice it, and maybe not. So let's just see how this goes. check the fly, hand gestures, check the style, right? Kind of switching it up in between. Now a little bit of what, again, like I said earlier, a little bit of what we like to do is show off a little bit, right? Kind of show off our freshness with our hand gestures and what we say with our face and all that good stuff, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a couple more top rocking moves, right? To kind of hit different beats in the music that y'all play, that DJs play. Yeah. So like we got this like a cross, yeah, Indian step, pa, do, ka, boom, ka, right, ka, 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 up, rock, down, and boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, 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 right? A lot of repetitive stuff. Now a little bit more stuff. Like we like to do like a little Latin rock, right? Kind of a Latin feel with the hips, right? A lot of a big contribution to the hip hop culture. Not only the black community, but also the Latino community as well. A lot of salsa, a lot of capoeira, a lot of Latinos have added to what we have in breaking today, right? So salsa is a huge influence into how you do it, right? Now I'm not just saying there's like salsa and there's hip hop. I mean like jazz, techno, rock, funk, right? A lot of it is like hip hop is just like one big like conglomerate of just a lot of music that was happening in the 70s. Right? Disco was a huge part of it as well, right? So a lot of like different feels. You'll see a lot of different b-boys hit as well, right? Sorry, b-boys and b-girls. I'm sorry. So yeah, when you're dancing, you can kind of dance however you want, right? But the essence of it, the essence of breaking, is a lot of this on your toes. Yeah, very aggressive kind of dance style. Yeah, breaking is a battle dance. It's very like show offy. It's very like, oh, I'm better than you. Let me prove to you why I'm better than you, right? And that's kind of like the stem of breaking, right? And that's how like different dance styles like these boom, ka, boom, ka, boom, ka, boom, ka, right? A lot of that stuff happens. The DJ after my class right now at 5 o'clock, DJ Qolaj, he's actually more of a house DJ, right? A lot of b-boys like to add a little bit more house. Oof. Right? A little house. Right? A little bit more house step. Right? To the top rocking. Now, anybody can do whatever they want, right? But the essence of breaking is that aggressive style. Yeah? So, a little bit more top rocking, right? We got these Latin rocks right here. Boom. Yeah. We got these back step. Same thing that we're doing with the Indian step here, right? Same thing. It's going back. Right? A lot of that as well. Just some poses that a lot of b-boys do. They like to put like foot up here, yeah, here, right? Shout out to b-boy Kid David. He likes to explain top rocking as like 4 different things: level changes, speed control, hands, and direction, right? So you can take any move you want and just apply one of those 4 things, right? So if I'm doing like a basic top rock Indian step kind of thing, right? If I want to do speed control, I can slow it down, nice and smooth, yeah, for the ladies or the guys if you're into that. Ooh. Boom. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, you can go super fast. Yeah. Boom. Speed control, yeah. Hitting those arms, yeah. Yeah. You can level change, yeah. You can go to the floor. Yeah. 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 Right. Yeah. Right. You go to the floor, you can go to your highest level. Boom. Right? A lot of that stuff. You can change direction with it. You don't have to necessarily face the camera. You can go like around. Yeah. Turn around. Yeah. Kind of hit the side for however you want. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of top rocking in a nutshell, right? That's how we kind of do that. I'm just gonna top rock a little bit, kind of freestyle my top rock. Let DJ Legionnaire play his stuff. You can kind of listen to, since I know this is a DJing environment, you can kind of listen to the way that DJ Legionnaire plays. I'm just gonna top rock for y'all, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Hopefully you guys will all follow along with me on that. Yeah. Cool. Again, if you're just joining us, my name is Coach Jay. I'm with Knowledge Breaking Crew. Check me out at knowledgebreakingcrew.com. Thank you again to Dance Music Initiative for having me. And Make Music Day, June 21st. Yeah, thank you guys. So again, I went over the top rocking, right? First element of breaking. Again, it's an introduction to your style, right? Now the real part, right, is what makes breakdancing stand apart from everything else, is the footwork, right? The footwork, which is everything we do on the floor, is what makes breaking what breaking is, right? A lot of dance styles, I want to say like 80% of dance styles kind of stand up here, right? A lot of it is done here. To the floor, that's where the meat and potatoes, right? If we're talking about dinner, top rocking would be like your appetizer, right? The main course is the footwork, right? And this is where you start to really show off your foot speed, your control, how hard you've been working on your craft, yeah. Because there's not a lot of dances that do that, okay? So I'm gonna now again it's breaking 101. So I'm gonna be teaching you just a couple of simple footwork moves that all breakers kind of use, right? One of them definitely. I'm gonna be teaching you two positions, right? One of them is zero position. I'm actually gonna move my camera to the floor now. Cool. So you can see me, all right? Now, one of the positions is zero position, right? You're kind of on your toes, on the balls of your feet, kind of heels together, not too close. Knees out. Sometimes people like to put their knees in, right? It just depends on the move. Couple of things that we can do in zero position would kind of be like a kick out, right? Some common things that you'll see. common things that you'll see like kick out. So like boom, boom, right? Both my bodies kick out. Boom, bah, 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 bah. Nice. Now, just like in top rocking, your hands kind of say something about it, right? Say something about you as a person, kind of shows you your character, right? So one hand's gonna be on the floor. The other hand is what I like to call your offhand, right? The hand that you're not using, you gotta use it somehow, right? So everything you want to do is you want to create a picture, right? So if I'm making a picture, you don't want your arm to be like those car dealership things, kind of flapping all over the place, right? Shows your lack of practice. You want to put it here, you want to put it here. You can call out your opponent, right? You can kind of point at them, whatever you want to do. Yeah, you just can't be swinging like a Volvo from Soul Calibur. I don't know. First thing that came to mind. Yeah. So we're gonna do some kickouts. 2-8 counts. Ready? This is my left hand. Put it down. And we're gonna go 5, 6, 7, 8. You're gonna kick out. Boom. Hips up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Now it's just a simple move on zero position. Right? Another thing we can do is like CCs. Right? One foot in front of you, opposite foot. This is well, to you guys to be your right foot. Right? You're gonna put both hands down on the same side, and then this foot's gonna kick up, twisting your hips. Bam. Back down. Switch. Right? CCs. Boom. Down. Switch. Right? Yeah. I'm gonna move your hips up, back down, up, back down. Right? Boom. And switch. Boom. And switch. Boom. And switch. Boom. And switch. Yeah. A lot of hip. Utilize your hip a lot and kind of bring it up. Yeah. Now we can kind of mesh the two together, right? Kind of mesh those two moves together. So like I like to call it like a CC kick out, right? So it'd be like from zero. Instead of starting with your foot out, just kind of kicking your foot out and CCing at the same time, like this. Yeah. I'll try and do it slow. Boom. Back. Yeah. Boom. Back. Yeah. Boom. Back. Boom. Back. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, kind of from there. We here. Yeah, we're gonna go. Boom. Back. Boom. Back. Boom. Back. Boom. Back. Yeah. CC kickouts. Right. Now that's zero position. Another position that we like to start in is push-up position. Right. Push-up position. No, it's not like a standard push-up like this with your feet close. I'm gonna do a push-up. Right. Push-up position would kind of be like arm shoulder width apart, just like a standard push-up. I like to be on my force starch on my arms like this, or on my hands, okay? And my feet are gonna be shoulder width apart, like this. Yeah. And from there, some basic stuff. Something called like mountain climbers, right? Mountain climbers. Right? Up and down. Reversing that's like a side to side like this. It's like a shuffle. Right? Kind of, again, opening up one arm, doing something with it, right? Making sure it's not flopping all over the place. Right? If you start and push up and move both legs at the same time, it's called a crisscross shuffle. Right? Cool. There's that. Let's start from zero position real quick. Forgot one thing. In zero position, there's something called a hook, right? Which would be like same hand, same leg. So it'd be my left hand, left leg, right? And it'll hook around, bam, like a fishing hook, right? What you use to go fishing with. Switch, boom, hook, right? Do something with the off arm. Here, 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 yeah. Boom. Yeah. So these are called hooks, right? Below your knee, hooks. Above your knee, if you put your foot up, boom. These are called ladders, right? Hooks, ladders. Hooks, ladders, right? Switch, ladder, hook, ladder, hook. Yeah, all that good stuff. Yeah, so hooks and ladders, same from zero position, right? Now push-up position, right? Crisscross shuffles, shuffles, all that good stuff. Yeah, all that good stuff. Cool. Now I'm gonna show you a move that kind of requires both zero and push-up, and this is a move that all b-boys like to teach. Like if somebody were to ask you, "Oh, can you show me some footwork?" or "Can you show me a little bit of breaking?" All b-boys like to teach the 6-step, just because it's one of the easiest moves, and it's very foundational, and you can take your 6-step and literally go anywhere with it, right? So, let me just show you step by step what the 6-step looks like, right? So over here, shuffle on 1, my back leg, which is my right one, it's gonna go hook on 2, right? Bring this around, this is 0 on 3, right? Now I'm only counting the steps of my feet, right? So if I switch hands, that's not 4. You hook this on 4. Now you just work your way back up to 6 step. Left foot, it's gonna step back. Boom, 5, boom, push up 6. Yeah, so it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, again, that'll go 1. Common mistake, people like to put their foot close. Yeah, make sure you really step out with it, be confident. Yeah, show off your body. 2, 3, 4, remember switch and hook, 4, 5, 6, yeah. You can also reverse it as well. Instead of starting with the left foot, you can go right foot, hook, 0, switch, da, da, yeah. That's a 6-step, right? Utilizing both push-up position and 0 position. Now you don't have to start in push-up like this. You can also start in 0 position. You just gotta choose the side on which side to hook. Yeah, so like, you know how this is 3? You can make it as a hook on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it'll be the same thing. So you kind of go in and out of it, right? Now, if you were to put some moves together, kind of create a set, right? You can go like half a 6-step, do some kickouts, do some CC kickouts, do some hooks and ladders, right? And kind of switch it up in between. Yeah, and it'll go like boom, ba, 0, ba, ba, right? Boom, 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 right? Freestyling it, right? Kind of going back and forth. Using your moves that you know and kind of dancing to the music accordingly. Again, we're like the soldiers. We're like the soldiers kind of reacting to the DJ's music, right? Now, if this is all stuff that you guys have caught up on, right? If this is all stuff you guys know, one way that I like to freestyle and kind of like come up with moves, and this is something I like to do with my kids a lot. I'm a dance teacher. I teach kids. Well, one thing that make it fun for them is I like to think of 6 actions, right? It could be more, but there's 6 actions that I can think about that allows me to play with my moves a little bit, right? So it would be hop, stop, kick, slide, spin, and roll, right? Again, that would be hop, stop, kick, slide, spin, and roll, right? And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a standard 6-step, right? Basic stuff, and then I'm just gonna call out a move at the same time. I'm just gonna perform the action, perform the move, and then go right back into the 6-step. Here's what I mean. Yeah. So I'm just gonna do a 6-step, right? And I'll say those moves in order. It's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So I'm just gonna continuously do a 6-step. Right, so if I said hop, at any moment, hop, right? Keep going. Stop, right? Kick, back, right? Hop, stop, kick, slide. Right? Hop, stop, kick, slide, spin. Right? Hop, stop, kick, slide, spin, roll. Right? You can kind of play around with that just using a 6-step, right? There's so many things you can do outside of the 6-step, just performing these 6 actions, yeah? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continuously keep doing the 6-step, performing these actions, and let's see if you can notice my 6-step and kind of see the difference, yeah? I'm just going to play some music.
So you never forget this. The days are way back, so many bear witness to fitness. Take the first letter out of each word in this joint. Listen close as I prove my point. T to the R-O-Y, how did you and I meet in front of Big Lou fighting in the street? But only you saw what took many time to see. I dedicate this to you for believing in me. Rain or shine, yes in any weather. My grandma Pam holds the family together. My Uncle Doc's the greatest, better get the latest. If we're talking about a car, Uncle Sterling got the latest. I strive to be live cause I got no choice. And run my own business like my Aunt Joyce. To Pete Rock hit me, enough respect due. When they reminisce over you, listen.
It's tiring. Yeah, but hopefully you can kind of see the differences. Yeah, just using basic fundamental stuff. Cool. I'm gonna grab some water real quick. Excuse me. Whew. Yeah, it's a great workout. So on some downtime, if you guys are DJs, just play some music, work on some stuff. It'd be great. I know a lot of b-boys are also DJs as well. Yeah, and they're great b-boys because they're DJs and they know how to kind of read and react, or not read and react, but like listen and react to the music, and it's a lot easier for them. All right, cool. Now there's one thing left I want to show you guys before we end, and it's freezes, right? And freezes are pretty simple. They're basically just you stopping to the music, right? Now a freeze can be as simple as just like standing up, just kind of posing at your opponent like, what's up? Right? Something as simple as that, right? Some people like to choose their freezes and kind of be on the floor with it. Now, the more flexible you are, the more difficult your freezes are, and kind of shows up your skill and the amount of times you practice and stuff, right? So like a lot of or really easy freezes, right, would be like a stab freeze, right? I'm sure you guys have seen this before, where your elbow's in the middle of your tummy. Sorry, that's me talking to kids. In the middle of your stomach, yeah, and kind of stalling from there, which is a stab freeze that look like this, yeah. kind of stalling. Stab freeze. One-handed stab freeze. Stab freeze. Yeah. Making sure you have a leveled back. Knees. Oh, if you're just starting, sorry, breaking 101. If you're just starting, you want to keep your feet on the floor, right? Have your knees be bendable, right? Kind of keep up like that. Now, the more time you get to practice this, right? You get to put like one leg off the floor, leg off the floor. Eventually, you want to try and get your hand off the floor, stab freeze with one hand, right? Now, a lot of that again is your flexibility, right? How flexible your arms are. Yeah. Yeah, me too. So we're here. Yeah. Wrist flexibility, all that good stuff, right? Another basic one is like headstands, right? You need to learn how to stand on your head first before you can start spinning on it, right? So like a headstand freeze is pretty simple. I'm gonna teach you guys kind of like the basis of it, like how I teach my kids, right? I like to do I like to think of a triangle shape. Okay, so think about a triangle. And my hands are gonna be the tripod, or like the base of the triangle, right? And my head is gonna be the point of the triangle, right? When you headstand, you kind of want to put like the top of your head here, yeah? If this is like a circle, kind of want to be like right here, right? So I'm gonna face this way, right? Sorry, let's do it this way. My hands are here, right? Making the base. So if this is my base right here, right? I'm gonna put my head down, yeah, feet up, yeah. And eventually, like, the way I teach my kids is like, you want to start an R freeze like this, called the R freeze, right? You kind of kick your legs up and down, yeah. Some stuff that you do like in yoga, right? Eventually you'll be able to hold it. Now a headstand freeze can take any shape or form, right? It just depends on how you want to freeze, right? Your legs need to make a shape so that it's considered a freeze. It's not a freeze if it's just moving all over the place like that, right? Freeze, right? Freeze, right? Freeze. Yeah, so if I were to face you guys, I would go like bam, 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 oops, bam, right, bam, bam, bam. Yeah, different variations. You can do what you like, so, but essentially it's all the same freeze, right? Practicing that. Now those are kind of like breaking 101 standards that you kind of have to learn when it comes to freezes. Again, a freeze can take any shape or form. This is a freeze, right? Calling out your opponent. What's up? Right? Boom. Right? Common freeze that everyone likes to learn is like the baby freeze, right? Now the baby freeze is very, it's different because it depends on how you kind of learn it, right? The way I was taught was when you baby freeze, it's not necessarily like, it's gotta look like this, right? Sometimes a baby freeze, see how my right arm is on my left knee, right? Sometimes it doesn't have to be like that. It can just be like this, right? Boom, right? These two, right here, same freeze. Boom, 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 right? Same freeze. Yeah. That's just like the baby freeze. Nice and simple. Now, what I do try to teach my kids is like baby freeze, the headstand freeze, right? So I'll go like, I'll do from the side. It'll look like, bam, right? Kicking my feet up, bam, right? Bringing it back, twisting my body, bam, like that, switching, yeah. I can also like switch stab, right here, bam, right, bam, bam, yeah, I like that stuff, yeah, cool, 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 nice, cool. Now essentially all that a freeze is just posing for a camera, right? So you gotta do all that. You can just throw your arms up, tell your opponent what's up, what you got, right? All that good stuff, cool. I have about like 10 more minutes left. So let me demonstrate a little bit of a freezing technique, right? So what b-boys, b-girls like to do is you'll always freeze on like a 1 or a 5 count, right? So we're counting like your DJs like, I know you like to transition every 32 counts, right? Every 4-8 counts. So like we'll always freeze, if it makes sense, we'll always end our freeze on a 1 and 5, right? Now a freeze, it's so like if I was talking earlier, how like top rocking is like the start of your conversation. Footwork would be like your main idea, your like what you're meaning to say, what you want to talk about, what the topic of why we're having this conversation is. Your freeze would be like a punctuation mark. It's usually like an exclamation point. Yeah. Exclamation point. Sometimes it'd be like a question mark. Like it just depends on how you want to freeze, right? So sometimes like for instance, if I was gonna freeze like an exclamation point, it could be like a dynamic level change. It can be like boom, 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 right? Or I can go from like boom, right? One hand stall, boom, back down, boom, right? Hit that baby freeze, right? Or it can be from like a footwork kind of like footwork style, right? Bam, hit that beat, right? All that good stuff. Now that'd be like an exclamation point. A question mark would be like, "What's up? What you got? Show me what you got."
What's up in the news?
Right.
But first, who's your go-to news provider? You can say something like CNN, Fox, NPR, or Reuters.
Cool. Sorry, that was my Siri. Yeah, stuff like that. Let me just demonstrate for you guys using music because that's what I like. Now I'm gonna freeze on 1 and 5. So if you guys want to just kind of count with the music, you can do that. You'll see like the horns that I'll hit with the beat. On the 1 and 5s, right? Hopefully you can tell the difference. Now just to kind of end it off before I go, I see a comment where you guys want to see my power moves. Now power moves, now it is integrated into the breaking culture now, but it wasn't there from the start, right? From the start, it was always top rock, footwork, and freeze, right? A little bit. Sorry, before I go, a little bit of history before I end the stream. A little bit of history behind breakdancing. It's taken from a lot of different disciplines going on at the time in the 70s. One of them was capoeira, right? Capoeira is a Brazilian fighting style. Another one's like tap dancing. A lot of what we do in top rocking, you see in tap dancing as well. Tap dancing definitely came first. What else? Kung Fu, huge. Kung Fu was in a lot of movies in the 70s, right? So we'll like to see a lot of that. I'm getting a timer. I got 5 minutes left. Yeah, so you see a lot of that, right? Kung Fu. And the last one is gymnastics, right? So a lot of these moves that we learned is from gymnastics, right? So like the Thomas Flare, right? Rest in peace to the gymnast. I'm forgetting his name. Sorry, his last name. But the Thomas Flare comes from a gymnast. His name is Thomas. He just recently passed away. Rest in peace to him. He invented one of these. He invented the Thomas Flare, which looks like this. I'm gonna play some music. I'm gonna give it a couple tries.
Begging you, put your loving hands out, baby. I'm begging you, put your loving hands out, baby. Riding high when I was king, playing it hard.
Another one is the windmill. Windmill is probably a common one. I believe this is originated by Kid Freeze. Don't quote me on that. I know Kid Freeze started in the 90s. 90s is a handstand spin. But windmills kind of look like this. I'm gonna try this out on carpet. I don't know if it's gonna work out, but hey, no excuses, right?
Wandering down, but easy coming, easy going, and woodland. Begging you, put your loving hands out, baby. I'm begging.
Cool. 90s. I know Kid Freeze originated this, right?
Begging you, put your loving hands out, baby.
Two-handed spin. I'm gonna grab my wrist. These are called 2Ks, 2000s.
Check.
Now you'll call those are more like stationary power. Ground power is more like flares and windmills. Yeah, a lot of aerial power would be like air flares. Same move that I was doing earlier, but instead of my body facing you, I'm in a handstand doing flares. Something I can't do, sorry. But that's actually one of the more popular ones. Rotational power would be like head spins for sure. Like crickets. Crickets is what I showed you earlier with the stab freeze, but spin around in a circle. So it'd be like. Alright, crickets. Jackhammers would be like that same thing, but one-handed. Right? Turtles would be like switching stabs. Yeah, in a circle. Turtle walk. So like turtles look like this. Right? That's turtles. Turtle walks is just basically like up and down. Like some stab back and forth. Yeah. All that good stuff. Whew. Nice. I got my practice in today. As you can tell, I'm super sweaty from when I started. But yeah, that's basically gonna be it. Thank you guys, people who are watching this stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Again, I'd like to make a huge shout out. Dance Music Initiative. Shout out B-Boy B Ryan. I'm sorry, Brian Chang. Right. He kind of organized this, put this together, put me on here. Very fortunate to have a platform to be able to teach, show my art, and do what I love to do. So thank you, DJ Brian Chang. Next up after me will be DJ Qolaj. He is a house DJ, so a lot of his beats will be a lot more funky than what I've been playing lately or during this class. So check him out. You can check me out on social media, Instagram, Facebook. Facebook, my name is Jason Paularan, and me as a friend. Hit me up. Facebook, my name is Jason Polar, and he's a friend, India.
Hello. Alright. Can you hear me? Alright, hi, my name is Qolaj. I am based here in San Diego, and oops, I hear myself. So yeah, first I want to thank DMI, Dance Music Initiative, and Make Music Alliance for making this happen. Like all of you, I use this time to learn a lot more and to just try things out, try ideas, see what works, see what doesn't. Right, so for now, I'll show you stuff that I learned. We're gonna make a tech house track. Okay, using Ableton. All right, so this is pretty much how I do it. First BPM. Let's do 124. And then I usually start with the drop just so I know like the main idea of the song. And then for the other parts of the song, I start breaking down the build up to form like the breakdown, the intros and the outros. All right, so let's do. Excuse me. All right, let's look for kicks, samples. If you tuned in earlier to the stream by Resonance, he introduced this software, Ableton. This is what I'm using. So it's nice that you're here now after that, so you see how everything that he said would be applied in making a track. Alright, so let's look for tech house. Let's do this. Only kicks, EDM house. Alright. Alright, let's pick this one. G, copy. Alright. Alright, if you notice, the kick has a lot of tail to it. I want it to be clicky, so I'm gonna cut this, fade out a little more. I just want this part. So yeah, if you're watching now, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat and I will answer them the best that I can. Right. One thing I like about Ableton is it's so easy. There's a lot of shortcuts that you can use to speed things up, because you know in music production, a lot of it, like the first part, the creative part, it's a lot of experimenting and it takes up a lot of time. So little things like this, like copying parts, grouping them, it just makes it so much easier. Oops. You should be here then. Right. Cool. Alright. So that's the first 16, 32. Right. And then let's pick a clap. Beat Academy, samples, one shots. Nope. Cymatics. If you're looking for like free loops, Cymatics has a lot of them, especially if you sign up. Every month or so, they give out this free samples. There's a lot. Most of the folders that you see here in my Cymatics folder are free. The only thing that I bought, I think, is this one, the Omega one. Everything else is free. Let's go house claps. Ooh, like that. Let's pick this one. Also, it's nice to. It would be nice if you train yourself early to be organized. Because if you end up having like 75 tracks, it's gonna be hard to look for things. So naming them as early as you can would again help in your efficiency as a producer. Yeah, usually I'm out things too. Thinking of a groove and a pattern. Maybe you can do this instead. Yeah, like that. Delete, copy. And then I will group this. Claps. And then by default, Ableton already has this bus tracks here, prepared, a reverb and a delay. So we're gonna use, you can find it here, this setting. So if you bring this up, what a bus track means is instead of putting the reverb on this track, because you can do FX reverb. So I can put reverb here, but if you're gonna use this same reverb to the other tracks, then making multiple copies of them will make your computer work harder, and it's gonna be frustrating for you in the middle of your track when your computer starts freezing. So using a bus track means you're only using one reverb, and the reverb that's coming out here, you're bringing it into the track that you want to bring it into. So this reverb, I'm gonna put it to 0 so you see what it sounds like with it fully, but it's too loud. So I'm gonna drop it to, maybe usually do 20. Oh, still too much. 39. Oops. Oh, it's this one. Alright, 20. See, just 4 tracks in and I'm already confused. Yeah. Alright, and then let's look for hi-hats. Samples. Defire is a group that I'm part of. It's like a class. It's like a school. So they offer like workshops. Yeah, it's a subscription service. So they offer workshops and feedback classes. There's like 5 feedback classes every day. So just submit your song and they'll give you honest feedback, and then work on it, and then send it back, and then they'll tell you again what they think about it. And I really spent a lot of time doing that this during the lockdown, and it really made things super fast for me. So Defire, they also give out like free samples. So for this one, Highest in the Room, it's a sample pack from one of the mentors, Versus. He's a bass house producer, DJ. Okay, drums. Let's switch hi-hat. Copy. Oh. Actually, now I'm not liking the kick. I'll try a different kick. Bonus sounds. Oh, where is it? Kicks. There. I guess I made it too thin. Let's grab this. Yeah. And now I'm not liking the hi-hats. Let's look for hats. Hats. Complete. Sorry about that. Few plates. No. Let's do tech hats. Drum loops. Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay, I'm not using this anymore. And then along the way, while you're adding tracks, it's good to also start gain staging. Gain staging means you sort of start mixing everything according to the level that you want. So like especially for like tech house, you want the kick to be the most powerful. So the hats one, I'm gonna drop it down -6. Actually, this is not real hi-hat. I'm gonna get this, but I'm just gonna use this hat. Nope. All right. Okay. And I also want that hat. Okay, maybe we'll add this in the second half. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Wanna add, okay. Yeah. So copy. All right. So yeah, we have a groove, and then so Actually, these are perks, so let's name this perks 1, hats 1, hats 2. Right, and then hats 1, let's bring a little to the right, hat 2 to the left, so there's some sort of stereo spread happening. And then group these, group these two are hats, bring the volume down 6, add reverb from our bus like here. Actually, this one I will offset it a little. Oh, it's already offset. Add more, just to add interest. Yeah. Okay, so alright, so we have a basic structure now. Usually at this point, that's where I decide what the main character of the track will be, and that will be your main hook. I went ahead and got this vocal sample from sounds.com by Native Instruments. Samples. Where's Native? Also, when producing, you'll notice there's a lot of talking to yourself moments. Ethnic, no. No. Is it? Right, there you go. So it sounds like this.
Shake like this, show me what you're working with. Time is ticking, come on in, sweating like you'll never quit. Shake like this, show me what you're working with. Time is ticking, come on in, sweating like you'll never quit. Shake like this, show me what you.
All right, 20 minutes in. We're still at the drop. Okay, let's add a double kick here. E.
Shake like this, show me what you're working with. Time is ticking, come on in, sweating like you'll never quit. Shake like this, show me what you're working with. Time is ticking, come on in, sweating like you'll never quit.
Okay, now let's add the bass groove. If you will see here, the vocal track is labeled as F sharp. So that means that's the key of this sample. So we're gonna just use that for this whole song. So so I don't forget, I'm just put here F sharp. Right. Actually, you know what? Let's make it E. So F sharp, so we can pitch it down. F sharp, F, and then E. So F sharp. 1, 2. All right, down 2 steps. It will be E.
Shake like this.
Yeah, 1 and E. Let's do E. E major. All right, and then all right, bass. Let's resample something that I found here in Native 2 bass, just to make things easier. Normally you can do sound design, you can play them yourselves, but there's I also want to show you resampling, which is a lot of which is done a lot in music production. Because some producers actually are sound designers, are better designing their own sounds. Some producers are better at picking sounds, manipulating them, and making it sound different. And I think I'm that. Oh, this is an F sharp too. Okay. So if you see here, it says F sharp, then that means -2. So now it's an E. Okay, on its own, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Can shake like this, show me what.
So it could be a good groove.
Can shake like this.
I'm gonna mute the vocals for now. Maybe if we cut it like that, double it, and then reverse this. Let's see how that sounds. Alright, there's something there. Well, maybe let's play this full so it doesn't sound like it's cut. I'm gonna fade that so I'm clicking. Maybe this one we can play it an octave higher. Oh no, so -2 plus 12 is 10. Up. Make sure you're in warp. So, because if you notice when I changed the pitch, it made the sample shorter. So you click on warp, so it stays the same length. Ooh. Let's play after the kick. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Alright, also in house music or electronic music in general, there's such thing as a call and response. So it means just like two groups of hooks or melodies are having a conversation. So this could be our first part. And then let's make another track and then choose a different bass. No. Maybe for the answer, wait, I don't know. Bass hit. Completes. Cymatics. Let's look at feature bass. What do they have? Drum, effects, synths, instruments. I have bass. Bass. There you go. Guitar loops. Actually, for this one, let's make something. We're gonna use control. I'm gonna use Serum for this. Serum is a it's a plugin. It's a VST. where you can make your own sounds, essentially. Plugins, audio, oh, expert, 0. Right. So now, alright, it sounds like this. So what we want, let's just pick a, what do you call this? A preset, so it's faster. Funk mode. Oh. Maybe this one, but let's cut down the distortion. Okay. So instead of playing the MIDI, which I do, I guess, most of the time, this time I'll draw it so you see how it's done. So don't have the camera showing my keyboard. Okay. Let's MIDI clip. We are at E, so E. What does it sound like? Maybe we can do a womp 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 womp. Okay, so to make that happen, we're gonna add automations to the sound. Womp womp. So I'm gonna change the filter to too basic 12. No, 14. 24. Right. Drop the resonance. Drop the drive. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this move. So now without movement, it sounds like that. If we're adding a movement like this, yeah. Boom, wah. Okay, so that means that this set of but we want it to start down. Let's make this faster. 1618. No. There we go. Womp womp. Okay. What does it sound now? Womp womp. Womp womp. Let's make it womp womp womp. Womp womp womp. So make this slow. This longer. Oh, I'm just realizing you're not seeing serum. Okay, in that case. I'm not gonna use serum then. 30 minutes. Okay, in that case, let's make it basic. Let's make the sample the answer the same one. Just gonna copy this. and then 1/16. So skip a beat, fade, and then think, 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 think. How does that sound? There. Right. Great, so that's our basic drop. I'm not liking this hat anymore. This clap. So means right. Right, that means you're out. Let's match the kick. Boom, doo, doo. I think maybe 126 would be better for this one. Alright, I'm just gonna group this to Control G, bass, fix the EQ. EQ is basically you're shaping the sound. Where's EQ8? So I want it to sound more round. So I'm gonna cut the highs you see here. Yeah. Alright. There we go. And then you can hear it clashing with the kick at some point. So we're gonna add a sidechain compression, which means sidechain means every time the kick. So we're targeting the kick here. What we're telling Ableton is every time the kick happens, the bass will duck down to give the space, the bass some space. So that's the bass. That's the bass now. But if we drop it down here, it means this. We're telling Ableton that every time the kick signal goes past this signal, this 25.5 dBs, it will duck the bass. So now it sounds like this. It's too strong if you notice, so let's put it up. Alright, with the kick, or with the drums. Yeah. Let's listen with the vocals.
Shake like this, show me what you're working with. Time is ticking, come on in, sweating like you never quit. Shake like this, show me what.
Let's play with the vocals. Use what do you call this? Little altar boy for that. Sounds nice. Little altar boy. So this one, Little Altar Boy, is a vocal effects processor. You can change the pitch and the format. Format is how or what shape the mouth is when it's producing sounds. So format negative usually makes it deeper.
Shake like this, show me what you're working with. Time is ticking, come on in, sweating like you never quit. What you working with? Thomas Turpin, come on, sweating like your lava queen.
Okay, let's play with that. So let's do random stuff. Formats. Want to start low.
Can shake like that. Thomas Turpin, come on, sweating like your lava queen.
You see the format moving?
Can shake like that. What you work? Can shake like that. Thomas Turpin, come on, sweating like your lava queen. Can shake like that.
Let's add some saturation so it sounds dirtier. Yeah. Alright, so that's... For the second part of the drop, wait. Oh no, what did I do? Wait. Okay, good. Right. 4 bars, copy. Maybe for the second part, let's just play with the vocals. Okay, good.
I can shake like that.
Let's cut here, 16.
I can shake like that.
Dish.
I can shake like that.
I can shake. Yeah, let's do that. I can shake.
I can shake like that.
So this is the shake. I can shake. Right. Yeah. Copy that. To that. Okay. Okay. And then, so let's just listen to what we have now. Let's add an extra hat in the second half, just to add flavor. Hats, more hats. Cymatics. Shuttles. No. House. Trim loops. Topper, yeah. I like this. And for the second part, let's use this. And then this one, let's bring it to the sides. Let's add width to it. Utility sides. So now, so originally it's like this, but there you go. There's that silent part in the one note. So let's add something. Control T. Wait. Let's look for samples. Ooh. Oh no, 15 minutes left. Okay, let's just add this. The fire. Where are you? Profit. Let's add something weird. Let's add that. Nice. All right. Copy. This one, cut. Maybe let's make this longer. So solo. I want it to start right away, so let's do this. Yeah. Yes. Let's copy the whole thing. Right. So this is what we have to drop right now. So for the vocals, I want to make this part different. So, oh, what happened? Oh, so yeah, let's move this down here. Change the Alright, let's copy little altar boy. Copy, paste, and then so that's and pitch it down -12. Let's see. Okay. And then let's add a delay. Echo. Too much. this one we want it high. It's too deep. $24. Yeah. 24. Oops. Warp. 24. Okay. Delete that. Copy. Then let's make it louder. Compressor. Just push it.
You shake like that. You shake like that. Thomas taking command, sweating like you move. You shake like that.
Let's bring the volume down and let's destroy that sound. Let's see what it sounds like. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Then EQ, let's cut the low end so it doesn't interfere with the bass. Yeah, let's cut this. Use the mids. Alright.
You shake like that. You shake like that.
Let's add more reverb.
You shake like that.
Too much. More delay.
You shake like that.
No delay.
You shake like that.
Oh no! 12 minutes. Okay. And so that is the drop, and then let's make a short intro. Let's copy stuff. So kick and snare. This is the mix in. And then a super basic bass. Perfect. Simple bass pattern. So dunk, 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 and then it's gonna syncopate. Yeah, dunk, 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 dunk. Right. This one, yeah. Tunkat, yeah. And then let's shift this up by 3 or 5, so it's gonna be 3. Warp 3. Yeah. This one too. Yeah, I didn't warp this, but it's okay. Sounds good. So that's the mix in. Let's add a basic hat here. Let's add, where was it special? What's this one? Oh, that's a vocals hats. Oh, let's add the perks. Right. Then let's add the filter to the kick. So at this part, it doesn't sound as heavy as we want it. So let's start with that, and then when it goes to here, it's gonna be full. So, oh no, should be here. Boop, boop. Right. Also with the bass, same shit. If you could see, oops. So you want it to end here, but for the first part, you want it not as bassy. It's too much. So 100. Yeah. So let's copy the whole thing, but this one, the filter stays down. In that case, let's remove these two, and then add, we added the hat. This one should be here, because you're in that group. Alright, let's copy that. So that will be the intro. Oh no! Last 8 minutes. So let's copy that here too. Then super quick build up, plugins, semantics, build. Let's just get loops. Oh, EDM house, yeah, house. Let's see house. Yeah, let's just do this. Why did I put you there? So build up, let's add another track. Not labeling anymore, just cause normal time. I'm not a fan, but oh well. So for the build up, let's just do the one bass, drop no repeating, boom, 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 and then this one getting faster, double time. And then clap 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's copy this one. Oops, not the whole thing. Bam, bam, bam. Oh no. Cut these. 2, 3, 4. Copy. Bam. Bam, bam. And then this one, double time. Which means 2, 3, 4. Alright, let's just cut this silence. Copy all this. And then move it. So for now we got just a very basic track. All right, I guess my time's up. So yeah, thanks again to DMI and Make Music Alliance. We're gonna play this whole what we have now for now. It's a basic structure, but thank you for watching. Follow me, Qolaj, Instagram, SoundCloud, Spotify. All right, see you soon. Here you go. All right, thanks again. And then catch Scott, David next. Talk about becoming the artist you are, because half of DJing production and anything, half is the business side and half is the mental side. Or I guess a third. There's a lot that people don't really talk about, and I hope he addresses everything that's outside the technical side of being an artist. Thank you. I'm gonna play it again.
Hello everybody. How's everyone doing today? My name is Scott David, and I'm excited to have this stream with you today. I'd like to welcome you to the next Make Music Day lesson, Become the Artist You Are, and give a big thank you and shout out to Qolaj for the last segment on how to make a dance track from scratch. Very difficult to do. Within an hour, I was very impressed with what he accomplished. So let's get into it. I want to also address that anything that is mentioned in this 1 hour segment, it's all through my experience. It's insight, it's methods that worked for me. They're not the best way or the only way, but they're a way. So it's just going to be an open format of discussing some important ways to become a better artist that you already are. Because when it comes down to it, we all are artists. So the 5 topics are going to be the best version of you, setting some goals, following through, and would you consider buying your product or your music, your end project, and learning through mistakes. So let's get into it. And I want to give a shout out to Hans Biga, who the studio behind me of what you see, that's not where I am, okay? This is 2020. I'm not there. That's Hans Biga's studio in Germany, in Berlin, Germany. He's a great musician, artist. That's how he's, his Wikipedia, or I think his Google search results mentions that. He's a great producer, studio engineer, designer, and artist. So I definitely recommend checking him out. He has some really cool branding of his whole artistry. That might be a good example for someone looking to how can they become a better artist or have a better public image or just different in a way, unique. He is one artist of many out there. So let's start with the most important is the foundation, which is the best version of you. Okay? Let's just get this over here. So what does that mean, the foundation? What is the foundation? Well, in this world today, we have to make a living by what we do. And when you're going headfirst into your art, it's a 24/7 gig. It is going to be, it's like having a child. That's an easy way to say it. So anyone who is a parent knows the commitment, dedication, patience, and perseverance that is needed when you're caring for a child. So the foundation is pretty much your housing. Make sure your house is safe, you're safe, you have somewhere to go to recharge or just do your work. And then your mental and physical health, very important. Having close family and friends to bounce ideas off of or just vent off to is very helpful. Family is important. Also, you have to do self-care. Lots of self-care. The problem that some producers get into, or artists, is physical fatigue from just mixing records, going through crates, mixing records, going through a laptop, carrying equipment. So there's so many pieces of the pie to just being an artist or a DJ that many people don't see. It's all behind the scenes work. So we're definitely gonna make sure that we address those. I'm just adjusting my volume here because the headphones were becoming a little bit too hot. Self-care, I do yoga. I enjoy researching a lot. It sounds like a weird thing for self-care, but I enjoy researching and learning anything new. I really enjoy that. And so those are 2 examples of self-care. Maybe even exercising regularly, going on hikes that will really help just have a better overall fitness level when you're performing, carrying out duties for your events, or even gigs, or working in the studio. If you're sitting in a chair for over 2 hours, even an hour, and not moving, that's not good. I've done it myself where I was sitting in a chair for 3-4 hours, working on music, loving that process, but the physical abuse, not good. So definitely take care of yourself. That is number one. And then as long as you have a job or some source of income to support your hobby leading to a career path, that is very important. So the hobby is music, right? Turning into a real career. But you also have other hobbies like mountain bike riding or painting or going to comedy shows. Maybe you're a writer and you enjoy writing sketch comedies or just stand-up bits. So you need balance for sure. And just know that jumping into art, it's going to be a long haul. It's not a short-term turnaround. It's lifelong. 10 years ago, someone said, oh, you can mix with records now. That's great, but it's going to be years and years until you get a gig. And it was a very long time to get to the places where I wanted to go. So that is sort of, it's important to know that all this effort we put in, we try to put a value to it. And the effort is, my dedication to sound designing, let's say, or my dedication to journalism and discovering more of what artists are doing right now in something that I want to do. And you can get lost for sure. So the best version of you, it's definitely good to listen to the good, the bad, and the ugly. Listen to everything. And I'm speaking of listening to what? People's feedback, advice, guidance, direction. Don't take it with a grain of salt, but over time, as you get to build a relationship with this person, you might trust them more and confide in them to tell them more of what you want to do with your projects. And they may be able to help lift you up to that next level. And sometimes the bad reviews, they can point out a problem that's a simple problem. It might be the way that it's presented, or who knows what the bad review is, or the comment or direct message you get from someone. You can have a discussion with them, and that's when it's to you to have that voice of, now you're an artist, if you're taking that role, is to voice how you really feel. Because we're all in this together. We're team one, human race. And you're never going to be your best, I believe, if you're not in the best environment, right? So again, like, your housing has to be safe and organized, clean, and in somewhere where you want to live and enjoy the people and the food and the culture and everything. That is basically where you're going to be the most productive. No distractions. Also, the thing with the reviews of people or people's comments or opinions about something you created and you wanted to share it with them, and they say, let's say it's not great. That's not great, or that's stupid, or that looks easy. It could hurt, but you just can't listen to them all the time. Maybe to your mentors, for sure. It's good to listen to mentors, and that's another whole topic of what we could talk about. It was mentorship. But take in the feedback and then see what you can work with in a positive way. Never go down or in the red. Always go up or in the green. And one of the best things when you're building your foundation as an artist or just as a person is, in what you're doing with art, you're creating something from an experience by expressing that with a medium. And this medium is music. Others, it's paints or paper, pastels. So how do you want to present yourself? Do you want to be professional? Do you want to be a bunch of freedom? What is it that you want to send to the audience, your audience? Very, very important. This is a story of when I did radio for 5 or 6 years, and after a few shows live, I thought and spoke to my partner with the show. Hey, maybe we both had this idea. Maybe we should have topics or something that's really productive for someone to listen to while they listen to music that we mixed for the show, and some news of what's going on in the industry. And after that, we had, of course, little secret here, I've prepared for this hour, but there's so many things to hit and talk about that it's hard not to go on a tangent and then come back, but we're here for a limited amount of time. But yeah, so let's stay focused on your message, okay? After I did FM, I really did my own PR and looked at myself at a unbiased, objective way from my online presence. So I think this might be a really good, strong tool to use, is being your own PR rep, your own PR personnel, and practicing how to objectively look at what you've created. Since you're the creator, you're the critique, you're going to be pretty hard on yourself, but again, I think all artists are, but it takes a lot of work to clean up how you present yourself in a public image that you strive for, and it might not be as natural just because you don't want to offend anyone, or you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, right? So, or you don't want to misspeak, and then it becomes a viral video or something like that, where other creative people put a spin on reality. That's all we're doing, is manipulating our experience of reality and creating something else for someone else to experience, right? So definitely, think about how you want to represent yourself as an artist to the people, to the world. How many people are in the world? 3.3 billion? 4.9? I can't remember. Always increasing. And just today, someone from Chile liked a post I posted about this hour session, and a few other people. I think they're from Southern California, but everything is at a touch of a fingertip, a finger point on your computer. Computers used to be the size of this room, and now they're the size of this and smaller. So think of it worldwide, and just think of how you want to send a message to the world, because everybody is listening for sure. Everybody's listening. Okay. So once you have the best version of you, you have your personal life set together, your individual life, your friend life, social life, work life, your hobby life, new career life. You're trying to get gigs, right? This is how I got into DJing for the public. It pretty much went from practicing by my turntables, 2010, practicing 2 hours a day for 3 months, every day. Nailed it. Very comfortable with beat matching. And then I was looking for other outlets, like to either get more tips, share, or play, whatever. Found DJ class and totally became involved and started helping with everyone. And then from there, we started to throw events together, because there's a group of us, maybe like 5 to 10 of us. And then with other friends, like a tree, you have 2 friends. So what is that, 20 people? Maybe 30 total for a little get together. It's nice. It's intimate. And so from playing for your close friends and then playing for public, it went from that to house parties, then bars, restaurants, clubs, one festival, and invitations to other parties, gigs, and live streaming events. And, I think most of the artists or DJs out there, DJs in particular, they see that one DJ in the Marshmello is a great example. Very commercial, popular, easy, simple, upbeat, friendly. Who doesn't want that in their life, right? And very successful. That is a great brand right there. you're thinking you're going to get there. I never really anticipated of going that far. I just wanted to create music that I was already listening to, but similar. So just creating more art to share with the people. And that eventually went into 15 years of writing electronic music, doing FM radio for 5-6 years, and still continuing that broadcast on SoundCloud through Melodictronic FM. So melodic electronic music. It's beautiful, meet so many great people all across the world, and really have a great time doing it. And that's because I have a good foundation, the best version of me, working on everything else so I can do those creative things. So yeah, let's talk about setting some creative goals, okay? If you have any questions, please let me know. You can reach out to me on the chat box. I think it's to your right. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Out of 10 years of doing music, this is the last thing I want to touch base on with the best version of you. Through creating the best version of me, myself, I started relationships with people that I would never have thought of. And I loved it so much. I got to experience a lot and meet a lot of great people that I look up to. And that is one thing that you can always look forward to. If you can't mix beside them, maybe you can write an article about them for a magazine or online distribution channel. So let's talk about setting creative goals. Goals. Now, looking at this new slide, or not a slide, it's just a pie chart. Let's raise your hand. Who has thought of goals or dreams? Everybody. Who thinks about it? Who writes it down? Who does it? Whose hand is still up? I've discovered that the more I write stuff down, the things that can be thrown away or tossed away or scrapped, they don't end up in the next version, which is fine because I think as artists there's so many things going through their head that they need a defined box to keep all of their genius inside, all of their expression inside, because otherwise it's going to just go haywire and it'll just stay on one tangent and not really complete a project. So for me, what really worked was having a defined working space with music production, writing music, and then from there, there's a spectrum of creative to technical, I like to say, when it comes to creating a song. I love staying in the creative side. Once it gets to the middle, I can do a little bit of sound engineering and cleaning up of what I think needs to be cleaned up properly. But when it gets I cannot do technical. I'm not technically trained. And that's where someone like Hans Biga, he could definitely do that because he's been trained for that type of engineering for sound production. But if you can just stay in your creative side, create the idea, write it down, save the project, you can always share through words how you want that song to sound like in the future. So setting the goals. The goal, I like to say, first of all, is let's have fun, okay? I like having fun with anything I'm doing, even if I'm researching something and just very deep in, it looks like I'm angry, but I'm not. I'm just really enjoying it. Let's have fun, most important thing. So for having fun in the music industry, there's a stigma to this, right? If you're a DJ, you do A, B, C, D, so on and so forth. So, there's a stereotype, the stigma related to DJing, and I go to the NAMM show every year in January at Anaheim Convention Center. Maybe every year for maybe the past 6-7 years. And I love listening to all the panels and speakers and guest speakers that they have coming in from all over the world to talk about, their journey, their experience. And I forget who it was, but it makes sense. Just like any business, any job you have, anything where you have to be clear, focused, and able to drive a vehicle. This man, he said, the number one thing that is priority in the music industry is you have to be sober. And I agree, for sure. When you're working on something, networking, partnerships, writing a song, finishing it, you should be sober, for sure. When I first started mixing music, I think I would start drinking a little bit, but then I could not mix well because you're intoxicated, right? So I think I was maybe in my 20s. And then I listened to a recording of that mix, and I was very embarrassed. However, I'm sure everyone has heard it at the bars. DJ is just really on fire, and don't get me wrong, they're on fire, but you might hear some clipping, you might hear a little slip here and there, and you're like, oh, it could be tighter. That's every DJ and artist out there, right? So after I heard myself, I'm like, okay, you know what? No more, let's stay sober during DJ sets, even beforehand to play that part. And I just saw an increase in everything I was doing with music. Excuse me. So sober is being number one priority for setting goals, because if you're not, you're just cheers. If you're not, you are just wasting time. You're exercising a muscle, but you're just spinning tires. You're revving the engine, but not going anywhere. But this is leading into where we want to go. So that's number one, have fun, be sober, and also get loose when you have to. If it's a celebration or it's your birthday or whatever, but just be responsible, You have to be responsible when you're becoming intoxicated. Now, the second creative goal is definitely create your artist persona, okay? Name the imagery, the feeling and sound as a artist musician that you wanted to have. It all comes down to the font used, to the color palette for the branding of the logo and imagery, everything. It's almost like you're selling a lifestyle. And I think I've created 3 or 4 throughout my lifetime. There's a few. There's Mark Parkland, Leon Bloom, Lennox Miles, and I think the initial one was White Gravy with my friend. He was forget his name, but that was mine back in when SoundCloud was just starting up. I think 2006 or 2008. And it's fun. It's fun to kind of start with a clean slate and say, okay, persona, this type of music only, and they like, blues and whites and grays and the darker tones for their color palette, and then you can really just design more art from it. So I think that really helps with creating music. When I create songs, most of the time I'm thinking about, well, we all do it. We listen to the music in our cars or when we're exercising, whatever. And when we're listening to our music, we're like critiquing it, but also wanting to improve it. And that's a whole other deep dive into building a track. I write music and then I create the persona afterwards. Because it doesn't take much. For me, it doesn't take a lot of thought to create like a name. It just snap like that. But when I'm doing the music, that needs a lot of focus. I want it to be, ideal for what I hear in my head. And then, setting your goals, you're going to have small goals and large goals. Small, What could it be? It could be buying equipment. It could be finishing a project. A big one, it could be selling that project. The goal of, having popular music or more avant-garde. I love underground. I love it because those people aren't following a trend or a popular music. They're writing a different story, and that is what keeps me really focused and attentive when I'm listening to new artists. And that's really important, of having really good sound speakers, even for your laptop, for your phone. Very important. And even with those large goals, if it seems like a mountain or a huge Pacific Ocean, start small and chip away at it. Eventually you'll get to your goal. And this will lead into the other topic we're going to talk about, but even with and if I repeat myself, whatever, but there's going to be a lot of temptations to do things that you're going to clearly see does not focus on your path to your goal, but it's almost parallel. But then again, that's where your self PR discipline will come in, and you'll make that correct decision. It's more of like a pragmatic thinking when it comes to being your PR. You're the artist, you're the promoter, you're wearing every hat essentially. And the goal is to get enough momentum to where you can just focus on the art, and you don't have to worry about the other hats, and you can have other people that thrive and want to do that, do those positions. And just like anything, one of my favorite quotes of all time by Gangstar, I put in work and watch my status escalate. Love that quote. I think I heard that 16 years ago, and it definitely is simple, and it just makes sense. If you're going to put in work, someone can argue work smarter, harder, or whatever, but put in the work and you're just going to watch your status escalate, your music escalate, your financial freedom, whatever it is, your gas tank from getting paid from these DJ gigs or from creating your music, and then you're taking trips to Joshua Tree or Yellowstone National Park because you're selling your music so you can experience more. Just put in the work. Put in those 10,000 hours. So those are some goals you can set and how to overcome those goals, I guess. It's all on you. Any goal you set, think of anything you have to do it yourself. You know how people say, oh yeah, I got my car painted and this and that, or they say, yeah, I painted my car, or they don't correctly say, I had my car painted by Caliber Collision. Not sponsored, by the way. Just first thing that came into mind. I had my car painted by the paint shop, or I painted it. I had it painted. Anyway, you're gonna do everything to the point where, again, creative, technical. You're gonna do everything you can. You're gonna hit your ceiling, and then you're gonna reach out for help. Another goal is to, I would say, ask for help when you need it. It might be embarrassing. It might be intimidating or not feel right, but I think most people want to help. And a lot of people I've met in the music industry in the past 10 years, anytime I really reached out to them, they definitely helped me. And this one guy, he called me when we were just messaging on Messenger. He called me because he thought I was like not doing really well. I was just I said I was having a bad day, really, really bad day. And he called me, and then we talked. And for him to do that, much respect, much love, Robert. So let's get back on point here of music. Okay. Another thing with setting your goals. Let's say you set a goal for, so you're you're a producer, you're making music, there's a cost to this now, right? Let's say you have a studio space. It's costing me $1,000 a month. I want to set a goal of making $2,000 a month. Let's say that goal is only $200 a month. That can really throw you off track, right? That can make you kind of give up on this and get a 9 to 5 at wherever. So with my experience, I've seen a lot of that. It feels like there's more of that than actual goals that I actually achieve. But again, this could be I have so many goals, or I have high expectations that, I'm always critiquing myself. I'm always never satisfied. But the ideology is always different from the reality. So keep that in mind. And nothing's against you, nothing's personal, it's just how things are working out. Another goal to set is, dedicating time to practicing writing music, exploring deep down inside of you how to express what you're feeling. That only comes with practice. You got to put it in the 10,000 hours. And definitely record yourself. You can sing, I sing, or hum. I do it a lot. I do it very often. I sing all the time because I have a 2-year-old son, and he loves to hear different pitches and tones and words and just singing. And I think it has really helped him learn to talk more. And also, when you're singing a song, there's no bias. To a child, there's no bias. He's loving it or he's not moved by it. So if you have kids, young kids, sing to them or play music and ask them what they think, and they will tell you the truth. Again, with creative goals, you want to keep business goals and ideas written down. And for this, I recommend having a mentor, and I recommend the Small Business Association nonprofit SCORE 114. They're in Costa Mesa, California. SCORE is nationwide nonprofit. They help small businesses start up or continue growing. I've been utilizing them for maybe 6 years. It's pretty great. They have mentors weekly for 1-hour sessions, and you can talk about, I have a list of 100 things to do. Then I break that down into 10 or 5 things to do. That seems more achievable than moving that 100-pound mountain, that 100,000-ton mountain, all in a week or 2 or a month. So definitely check out SCORE, Small Business Association. Great people over there. Also, setting goals. Never stop learning. If you learn how to make the best synth sound from a sine wave using what filter and this plugin, and you stop there, you can do that. Totally do whatever you want. But I've seen that the more I learn, the more I just feel comfortable doing things. And I've seen it help me out financially. I've seen it help other people. And it's great. Learning's great. And definitely, again, when you hit on the spectrum of creativity and the responsibility of the technicality of projects, once you know you need help or hit your ceiling with a project and you want to finish it, you want to get it done, and you want to really use it for something other than self-enjoyment, reach out to people, ask for help. I really enjoy people that ask for help when I was in the automotive repair industry, because you're dealing with machines and moving parts, heavy machinery. Excuse me. You want to have responsible people around, and you need help eventually for certain projects. But that's more of working on cars. And so, ask for help. Those are some creative goals for you. And let's follow through with what we're going to talk about next, which is following through. So this is a pretty sweet image. It's from NASA Images, and it's a really high res. It's the recent hurricane from September 2019, I believe it was. But following through, So I chose this image because it's kind of not the best image to use for this, but imagine all the challenges you go through when you're creating your sound, your artistic expression with music, or you're a lighting technician, or just a curator of a festival, or doing anything creative, right? All the clouds surrounding the eye of the storm are those challenges, and you don't know where you're going, which way is up, where's left, where's down, right? Am I going forward, backward, where am I going? But as long as you stay focused on your little boat and you have your little compass and you don't get distracted, you're going to find that all that hard work is going to be there in the center, where it's peaceful, it's calm, it's clear. Although you're surrounded by chaos, which is life, you built your little bubble, which can close up. Maybe that's when we die. Or it expands when we start creating more and sharing that with more people and helping people. And that is pretty much where I've gotten to that place a few times, and it doesn't last forever. You always have to work on this because it's constantly moving. Life never stops. Wrote this song at the pinnacle of my life in 2015. I think it was October. That's where you want to be, in the center. And I experienced it a few times. It's hard. It's not hard to get there. You just have to sacrifice other things in life. And that can be material things. It could be mental habits you have of how you treat yourself, how you treat other people. It's really up to you to where you want to be. And I'd rather be in the eye of the storm than the outskirts. So, following through, what are the best practices and the mental discipline with this? Well, I've been told that I follow through with a lot, but again, like, I have so many thoughts and ideas about stuff and things I want to do. It feels like I don't sometimes. So let's see what I have here. Starting with following through, best practices and mental discipline. It might help with like an unbiased person to kind of see where you're at in life, but like do a self-assessment. And that can be anything from looking at, all right, are my clothes clean? Do I smell clean? How's my hygiene? Am I presenting the best me to the world? That could be a self-assessment. But you definitely want to follow through with anything that you're committing to. If you promise someone you met through networking in the field, at a gig, and anytime there's a gig or an event and you try working, I don't recommend it, because you're at the festival or the gig for enjoyment, for pleasure, to have a good time, to relax, to enjoy the music. So we want to do that as a follow-up. And when people don't follow up in the industry, it's unfortunate to hear, but it happens. The squeaky wheel gets greased, or oiled, is what they've told me many times. That's what the mentor said last Friday. But, the self-assessment for me, I took a deep dive into myself, and I had some time to do this because I went through a neck injury. So I had some time to kind of reflect on my entire life, about 9 years ago. And what it comes down to, it just comes down to what makes you happy in life, right? And if you're able to find that within yourself and create it, finalize it, be happy with it, and share it with people, that's a huge success. That's what it's all about. Now in the follow-through section, I do talk about temptations again. And something I didn't mention when I mentioned it earlier, because I mentioned everything here already, there's a great YouTube video called Adam Grant, Givers, Takers, and Matchmakers. It's a TED Talks video. It's really great. I think it's maybe 4 years old, but it kind of gives you an idea of the temptations out there, and the temptations can be a facade that leads to something or somewhere that you don't want to be. And that's where you can apply this givers, takers, matchmakers to the work environment. I've seen the more I give, the more I get back. And an example is, I guess I'm giving my time, my effort, some money per month to continue running my SoundCloud page, Melodictronic FM. That being said, I don't care the cost or the time, because people listen. A few people, not many. People listen to it and they enjoy it, and it's continuing to have a steady increase with listens. So why not keep it going? And that goes all the way back to 2003, when I discovered DJMixes2k.com. That was my Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole. I went down into this website. They had nothing but music mixes, field recordings, from the mixboard recording. Amazing DJ sets from, I think it was mainly like European clubs or venues. I think so. Not too many in the States. And just so many talented electronic artists and DJs. That was me following through with my crate digging, my digital crate digging. But yeah, definitely check out the Adam Grant Givers, Takers, and Matchmakers video. It's a great video. So to wrap up that point of DJ Mixes 2K, that source, I'm continuing that tradition with my SoundCloud page. It's a small cost, but the return is people that enjoy it. And I meet other DJs that send me a mix. I'm like, oh wow, this is great. This is so cool. Where are you from again? Canada or Russia? Wow, it's great. So on top of following through is also socializing and working by yourself. So socializing and networking is great. You need it, you have to do it, and there's a balance to everything, right? There's a balance to working on your art and staying in the eye of the storm, or then going out into the chaos and seeing distractions and everything else. So there's that balance. As people, we need to have human engagement. We need relationships. We definitely do. I can't tell you how many times I made the choice to stay in and work on my music because that was more enjoyable. That was a few years ago, but it was great. It was a great time. Okay, so also working in solitude, sometimes it can be mundane and just boring, and other times it can be brilliant, where you come through a breakthrough with your music or your ideas. And this is very important, I believe. The spectrum of creativity and technical aspect of music. You need the creativity, but also the structure, right? So let's say, what do I have here? Oh, here we go. So the creativity that happens for me that is very visual are my dreams. And that is one area where, let's say, well, I have these visions, these images, I want to create that in the real life. Here's an example of something I painted when I was in a neck brace from a neck injury. It's the only thing I could do. It was my only piece. And it can mean whatever it wants to mean to you. But at that time, I was pretty much looking, watching things, and listening. Wasn't really talking much because I was stuck at home and in a neck brace. And I think it hurt to talk. Definitely hurt to eat food and liquid, but once you have the creativity down, that process of extracting it from a visual or audio sense into a new medium, that's great. And even with art, painting or drawing or music, creating music to replicate what you hear in your head or someone hears in their head can be very difficult at times. But that's where your foundation, your setting goals, and also following through with priorities. Because again, it's all up to you. You have to make the call to that mentor to set up an appointment and talk to him about what you need to happen for you to make whatever you're working on successful. Another big one with following through with any project, it's not fun, but get organized. Have a clean working space that's just ideal for you to just focus on one thing, and that's your art. Don't have clutter around. You don't want that. And just like anything, if you're already performing your art, 80% is prep, 20% execution. 80%. Just show up. Show up is what, 50%? And then from there, push play, start your performance, your light show, music performance, and you're going. Then you're just going through the entire hour. And from there, that's pretty much it for the follow through. So live by your word. If you say you're going to follow through, follow through. Even if it doesn't pay, even if it pays well, or any of that. Here's a takeaway from this section. I was given the opportunity to be on FM radio. So I thought about, okay, well, the time, the effort, the cost, man, this is an inexpensive hobby. I asked a sound engineer after a show and said, hey man, I have this opportunity. What do you think? He told me, say yes to everything and just have a good attitude and smile on your face, and you'll do fine. You'll succeed. And it makes sense. Again, we want to help people. Again, everything's art, and that was probably a great decision I made after talking to that guy. So let's move on to the last section, which is, you made a music song, right? A music song. You made a music track, electronic track, and you want to get paid for your art, right? This is what I ask myself all the time. Would I even buy it? Would I want to buy this? Would I go see this artist? Those are things you have to consider. And most of the time, when it does go through, it's like you won the lottery. It's the best feeling. Oh, I'm getting paid $50 to play an hour set. Yes. I'm getting paid $10,000. Oh, yes. Just the ability to achieve, like, yes, you can play here. You set the goal. I want to get paid. Playing a gig. You did it. Mission accomplished. Ask myself that all the time. Now, on the spectrum, you have people that are your family and friends, which are biased, and they can say, oh yeah, I support your music because it's you. You're my bro. You're my sister. You're my good friend of 20 years. But yeah, thank you. But did you like the music? Yeah. So I like to test people. Again, with babies, test your music with babies. See how they express themselves. I play music for my friends when they least expect it, that it's mine. And then they're either continuing to dance or like, what is this? Or they're like, oh, this is awesome. So it's great. Put the music out there. And at the NAMM show, some guy said they have a catalog of 500 songs and only 5 of them are making money. So that's perspective. And we only have about 9 minutes left, so I'm going to wrap up the would you even buy it section fairly quickly. But let's see here. Would I even buy it? Sounds like a game show, but would I even buy it? When I'm listening to music, I want to hear the angst. I want to hear the pain. I want to hear the happiness. I want to hear all of those little features that's analog in that digital song. If I can hear that and feel it, I will support that artist. Last person I supported after listening to his album and some other things was Moby Innocence 2014. Really good album. Kind of moody and gloomy, but it's pretty good. And, let's see here. I have, so would you even buy it? Let's say you're at that point like, man, I don't know if this is good or not. Ask recording studios to just listen to it like, hey, I need some technical and creative feedback. Can I get your input? Because I'd love to sign with you, but this song isn't ready yet, but it's almost there. Just 80% of it is done. I need the other 20% from you guys. Maybe we can work out an agreement, or maybe I can finish it up on my own. And again, would you buy it? You're selling yourself as the artist. Very important. We hit topics on, how to present yourself and be, as an artist, what you want your persona to be. So, people are gonna consume it. They're gonna enjoy knowing, oh, this guy is in Spain, or he's in New York. Oh, I wonder. They have curiosity. They're wondering what you drive, what you wear, what you eat, what you drink, everything, what kind of dog you have. And remember, would you buy it? You, the artist, you are the investor. You invest all this time. Would you listen to this? Would you play it at the club? Would you play it at a wedding? Would you play it for your kids? All things you got to look into. And lastly, learning from mistakes is the last topic. I think I mentioned this initially, but learning from mistakes. When you're learning and not earning, you're building for yearning. You're gaining experience, okay? There's a learning curve. You learn the easy way or the hard way. I don't think there's any easy way to anything. I like doing it the hard way. I like learning. I love to challenge myself. That keeps me sharp. Well, let's see here. I have a really great, I have a few quotes here that might inspire you to never burn a bridge and, just stay true to your art and self. But here's from Thomas Edison. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. And here's from Thich Nhat Hanh. The mind can go in 1,000 directions, but on this beautiful path, I walk in peace. With each step, the wind blows. With each step, a flower blooms. That's going right into that eye of the storm, of the hurricane. And again, Gangstar, I put in work and watch my status escalate. Love it. So that's pretty much it. I mean, learning from mistakes, you're gonna learn and get burned. I got burned a few times from restaurants that were supposed to pay me. Learn from that mistake, and sometimes, taking an opportunity, like I said, saying yes to everything, taking an opportunity is sometimes, it might burn you, but whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And you're exercising muscles, you're exercising real life experiences. The only way you're gonna succeed is by doing, not just thinking about it, dreaming about it, saying it, writing it, but doing it. You gotta do it. You have to do it. No one else is gonna do it. No one else is gonna do it. And that's pretty much how to become a better you as an artist. How to become a better artist. Becoming the artist you are. If you have any questions, you can definitely reach out to me anytime. And I just want to give a big thank you to Dance Music Initiative and
He's introducing us. Oh, hey, I think we're on. Let's start my timer. Hello, and welcome. This Let me get my thing situated. Welcome to Intro to Performance Lighting. Thank you guys for being here. And thank you to Scott for the last class and to all of the presenters today that took time out of their day. What a great experience. Oh, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. My name is Tyler Greene, and I am a dad. This is my son, whose name is also Tyler. Say hi.
Yo, what up?
I'm also a stage lighting designer, as well as being on the board of Dance Music Initiative. Great. So Tyler is going to help us on our journey today through learning about the various aspects of concert or performance stage lighting. Let's jump right in. So whether a event is streamed or you see it live in person, one thing you can notice is if the sound is bad. If you can't hear what's going on stage or what the presenter is trying to communicate, then it's considered bad. Well, lighting's the same way, because lighting is a tool to communicate visually. If you can't see what's going on stage or what the presenter is trying to communicate, then you can end up confused. And being confused leads to being scared. So we don't want that. We're going to look at some examples of bad lighting right now together. This first one is one that I just Googled, horrible lighting. This is the first image that came up. Ooh. As you can see, you can barely even tell that it's a picture of a face, and when you do, it's quite frightening. What do you think is wrong with this picture, T?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say it's way too dark. It looks like the Grim Reaper's skull just disappeared and that face just showed up out of nowhere in his robe. That's how I would describe it. It's too dark. It's going to give me nightmares.
It's going to give him nightmares, ladies and gentlemen. So that's not what we want from a picture, especially a selfie. You're not going to get any friend requests that way. Excuse me, what this picture is missing is some kind of front light or face light. It's not that hard to do. You can't see, but off camera we just have a little hardware store clip light with a LED bulb in it. I think you're going to end up spending less than $10 per setup. There's 2 of them here. All this other stuff, if we turn off our front lights, we're going to look just like the picture, look like a dark cave. So the front lighting, the face lighting is important. We're going to get into this a little bit more. Okay, let's go to the next one and see what we've got here on our next example. And this one I Googled bad lighting, and this is the #1 Google result for bad lighting. You can also see there's some kind of shadowy figure. This is also off of I think a church's website, so that's not going to way they're going to attract people either. It's scary. We don't want to scare people. You can kind of see like in this area there's kind of a lady in there, but it's all through the fog and the effects. So we're missing the subject. The effects and everything are great, but we're missing whatever she's trying to do, and she's on stage, and she's what we're trying to, or what we're usually, whoever's on stage is what we're trying to support. We're trying to be part of a performance, unless it's just a light show. All right, and let's look at this next slide, which is kind of a good lighting versus this one down here. Thank you very much. So you can tell, like, that's a good example. On the one on this here is filled in, and you can actually see smiling. It's the same dude, but with different lighting. He looks like he's kind of angry there, and that it's not just his facial expression, it's that you can't really see his facial expression. Here you can see, what's going on because of the lighting. So those are some examples of good lighting, and this goes for concerts, for streams, for live performances, everything. Selfies. Good lighting is a vital part of clear communication for any live event. Lighting is also a huge part of our day-to-day lives. The sun gives us life, and we live according to this light. Because of this, our eyes have evolved to use natural sunlight, and we mimic this indoors with artificial lighting in our homes and workplaces. let's take a look at this next picture, which is a picture of Brian Chang and I outdoors at one of our events. Okay, cool. Now, the reasons why I say this picture has good lighting is because you can see what's going on. You can see the subjects, but there's other things going on here that contribute to the good lighting. We're going to look at those things. We can see the first thing is that the sun is the obvious source of illumination. We're outside at an outdoor music event. The light, if you look at the tops of our heads, the top of my hat and shoulders is spilling across. And the cool thing that's happening, it's not just hitting us, it's hitting everything around us and bouncing off the sand, and it's bouncing off the shade structure up here and off the stage and other elements, and it's creating this nice soft fill light that's filling in all the shadows behind us. Having the brightest light, though, behind us really helps us stand out from the background, because it's a very bright background, and if the sun was facing us, then we would kind of look a little more washed out, and we wouldn't pop out from the background. And the other thing here is that the light's not colored, it's just regular natural light. With the advent of LED lighting, many more colors are now available to the user, and our eyes can see many colors. Cameras aren't quite as dynamic as the human eye, not yet anyway. This is something to consider when you're designing the lighting for your event. Regular sunlight is considered 5600 Kelvin. In the Kelvin, that's a unit of rating for a color temperature, and that just means how much red versus blue is in the light. The higher the color temperature, the more blue, and the lower end of the range in the 2000s, 3000 has a red tint. We're going to look at that a little bit more later, but that's how we measure the whiteness in the light. And so right now we're at a very bright white scene, and the camera is adjusted to that setting. Your eyes automatically adjust, most cameras do too, but when your stuff looks a little bit off, that's why. If you take, an interesting experiment would be if you take your camera phone and you turn off the automatic color balance or white balance, and move from indoors to outdoors, or vice versa, you'll notice that it looks blue or red compared to where you were before. There'll be a shift, something that you can try all by yourself at home. Okay, so we're going to do a little experiment now, and we're going to put little T up on our little stage here, and we're going to try to recreate the light in the studio here, because right now it's pretty basic lighting, but we're going to try to make little T kind of more like the picture and explain how you guys can do this at home with whatever kind of lights that you have. We've got some less fancy lights, some more fancy lights, but the fanciness level of your lights really doesn't matter. The important thing is that they're the same color, and that your eye or the camera is adjusted to it so you can see what's going on. Okay, so let's get started. And I also want to point out before we go any further that I know you guys have heard a lot, if you've watched today, a lot of new phrases and terminology. Well, we're going to give you some more phrases and terminology right now. Every one of these individual lights we call fixtures or an instrument. Just like in music, we have lighting instruments instead of sound instruments. But we use our individual instruments as a whole, and then we'll have a controller that will control the instruments. Okay, so we're going to use some lights. I'm going to turn everything off right here, and we're going to start with the backlight, which is the bright light in the picture. Ty, can you stand on the stage just a little bit more? Perfect, thank you. Okay, so now look, we've got this light. We don't need it to be super bright. We need it to be right in there. And now you can see the same angle that you see on Brian and I is now being artificially recreated in the studio on little T. And it makes him pop out. Look, there's regular lighting just from the front. There's no backlight because I turned all the backlights off. Now I'm going to fade in the backlight that's mimicking the sun. Boom. See, pops out. Looks so cool, right? I know you guys love it. Okay. Now we're going to bring up some other backlights that are going to act as fill. And you can see, wow, look at that. Now he's really coming out, and he looks like he's almost outside. Okay? But he's still giving us kind of a little bit of a Grim Reaper look on his little face. So we're going to fade up some other front lights now. We don't need too much, but just a little. It's going to help. This LED, so the color's a little bit off, but now you can see. Now he looks like he's kind of outside on a sunny day. All right, so let's try taking them away one at a time. Let's take out our backlight, and let's see what happens. You know, it still looks okay, but it doesn't have that 3D. It almost looks like he could be kind of a cardboard cutout, you know, if he stands really still. But now we bring it back in, and now you can see the definition. So the different angles add the definition. And you're noticing one thing. In here, normally when you might not see where the lights are coming from, but here you can see, because we're really wide, that it's coming from back, up, and behind. Little T there. Okay? And that's, again, we're mimicking a thing in nature, the sun. A lot of art is just kind of recreating what we already see in nature. Lighting is no exception. So we have light coming from behind, illuminating little T, and it's not coming from below. It's not coming from straight down. It's coming from a nice kind of midday or mid-morning angle, just about the time when we took that picture. All right? So the fill light, let's take the fill light away now and see what happens. Okay, now look, you notice the shadows got a lot harsher. And if I took the time to go around and turn off the little clip lights, it would be exacerbated even more. Front light's a little hot. Yeah. So now we've just got the backlight. You know, see that? Oh, there you go. When you set up, it looks even better. There you go. And let's add the fill back in. Wow, look, and it's nice and it softens it up. You know. Yeah. So whether you're doing a class like this, or a stream, or you're doing Twitch, and you've just got a little frame, people are going to know. They're not going to be like, "Oh, you had great lighting," but they're going to want to watch longer. They might not notice unless they're a lighting expert, but it can be jarring to have. You might be communicating the wrong thing, and my goal here is to give you guys some new tools to use and some new things to think about. Yeah, thank you very much, little Tyler. A round of applause, golf clap for little T.
Dude, I was just sitting there.
You may have just sitting there, but you did great. Okay, Tyler, could you throw up a logo or something while I catch up on our notes? And if you guys have questions, I do have a little window open over here, and I can check questions periodically. And I may or may not choose to answer them. Okay, so we did the sunlight. We talked about doing it in the studio. Now we're going to talk about camera versus live. I already touched on this a little bit, but I want to kind of go in a little more in depth. By the way, I'm going to try to go through the programmed part of my class as quickly as possible, so we can have some fun with working with music and cueing and color and that kind of thing. Okay, so camera versus live. I talked earlier that the human eye can see way better than most cameras. Changes that can be seen by the eye might not even register with the camera at all. Colors can look different, and you can be limited by the light coming into the lens, which usually has a much narrower field of view than the eye. So like I can look around and see everything in here. You guys can't do that. You guys don't even know what's back there. It could be anything, right? And also you're limited to the field of view that goes somewhere from over here to over there. You know, you're not seeing what's beyond that, and your eyes naturally see more. You may only see detail in one part, but the periphery is very cool when you're outside and you go to a show. You get to see everything that's going on. When you're doing it for a camera, you're very limited to what's right in front of you. So, that being said, it's also a very rare occasion when your show isn't being recorded. And so you need to really think about, as a performer, looking good on stage and looking good on camera. because it's going to be recorded, and a lot of times you have more views after the fact, and so you want to have a good recording, you want to have a good stream, and having good lighting is very important. If your camera isn't adjusted, then the good lighting that you have will mean nothing, though. Your camera needs to be adjusted right in order for things to work. So I'm going to ask a little T to throw up like some kind of visuals, just whatever you want. And I'm going to mess with the camera a little bit over here, and hopefully it doesn't crash OBS. And we're going to look at some of the different settings. Okay, so when I start setting my camera up, I'll put on a neutral scene or something that I know what it's supposed to look like in real life. So I'm not chasing my tail. So I'm going to use this scene. I know what it looks like because we've been working with it for the afternoon. And I'm going to go into, settings. Any camera's going to have these basic settings. This isn't specific to OBS. It's not specific to my software. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the white balance, or the color temperature. And we're right at 5030, all right, or 5K, which is the neutral. So I'm going to turn it up, which would be like the camera is adjusted for outdoors, okay? Bright, sunny day. All right, what did you guys notice on the video? It turned a little bit reddish, didn't it? All right, that's because it's adjusting for a bluer scene. So it's trying to counteract the extra blue that it thinks it's in there. All right, now let's go the other way. Let's go to like a firelit scene or a scene that's like, where would it be? Maybe inside your living room at night, kind of warmly lit. All right, I haven't changed the lighting at all, but you can see now it looks blue. Okay, I'm gonna go back to normal. 5000, that's what our neutral is. And then we're gonna adjust it down. 2500, it's making it super blue because it thinks it's more tinted red. And if that's what you want, if you're using these clip lights, right, that we're using, and you want everything to look cool and cold like you're in outer space, check it out. Look how much cooler looking. I'm not just talking about how cool dudes we are. I'm talking about that it looks like we're icy, right? It looks like we're physically cold, or we took the warmth out of it. Okay, we took the flesh tones out. We look like we could be zombified, possibly even, right? So now we're going to add that back in. And then look, see, now we're definitely cool, we're alive, our flesh looks good. All right, that's your white balance or color balance. It's just one adjustment. And most cameras have it. Even your camera phone probably has this, like I was talking about earlier. So mess around with that. Okay, once you get it set, the important thing is turn off auto. You can't leave it on auto, because then the looks that you're going to create later, and for your show, if you're trying to go between blue to red, and you want the viewers to see it just like they're seeing in real life, and you have your camera set on auto, it's just adjusting the blue to red and the red to blue and messing everything up that you're trying to create. So you need to get away from auto settings when you're recording live performances. That's kind of the number one thing. Sorry I failed to mention that earlier, but turn off the auto after you get it set. Or a good way, if you're confused of where to start, is to turn it on auto, set your scene to a neutral scene with the middle light, with a scene that's not like super blue or super red. Find your middle ground, and then shoot that scene, and then thank you. I'll turn the mic up a little. So like I was saying, turn it on auto, and then just turn it all off auto. So once you have your regular scene in front of the camera, turn it off auto, and then it should stay in those settings, and then you'll be locked and loaded. Okay, so next one, we can look at brightness. I turn the brightness up, and what happens? It looks washed out. Yeah, and the shows aren't that way. We have lots of negative space because we want the beams to punctuate. Okay, so we turn that down to middle or less than middle. Same thing with contrast. If you want your lights to stand out more, then turn it up. And it looks that way. And then you turn it down, and it's going to wash out more, less contrast, okay? We're going to keep it in the middle. All right, gain, that's how much energy is going into your chip. You turn that up, and it looks bad, and you turn it down, and it doesn't come through at all. You got to find the middle ground with these settings. Try to find the middle ground, and things are going to look their best. Okay, focus. That's a big one. People turn off the focus, and then you see this. Oh, that's exposure. My bad. You see this. If I grab the focus, oh yeah. Oh, dark scene, and then oh, yep, black out, and then oh, lights are back up, and oh, where's the focus? You know, just set it. If you're using a webcam or any cam that's like small, just set it on infinity probably and leave it. Unless you're really close and you're taking close-ups, but make sure it's again turned off the auto. I don't know where it is on your settings, but I'm sure you can find it and turn it off. Your low light compensation, you don't need that. You just need basic settings, and then let your message be communicated as clearly as possible that way. You don't need the camera doing magic tricks for you. Okay, so nothing crashed. Hooray! At this point, I think that we're gonna get the fog machine cracked on, and look at some at doing this stuff, because the other element is doing this to music. So, and that's the fun part. But you gotta know the basics. Oh, okay, here we go. Alrighty. Okay, so as I was saying before, LED lights give you lots and lots of colors to work with. And most common mistake I see when people get new lighting systems, or when they make their own lighting system, or even when they get one light, is they turn on all the features all the time, and all the colors are coming out of the light all the time. There's a whole rainbow of colors. You don't have to use them all at the same time. It's like, in musical terms, think of it as if you played all the notes at the same time. If you strummed all the strings on the guitar all the time and it didn't change. You need to have somewhere to go. The lights need something to change into. So if you're using all of the lights, then you won't be able to have a new state to go into on the next, other than just a blackout or taking stuff away. And you want to keep it exciting. You need to have changes in your lighting throughout the show or performance, if nothing else, just to keep it interesting. That's the art of doing lighting, and it can be confusing to use too much at the same time. So again, keep it simple. Think of picking a couple colors and a couple that complement the other colors. You don't need a lot at the same time. Okay, I'm gonna go over to the light board, and we're gonna look at some of our favorite color combinations. And we'll just kind of talk through it. Thank you guys for hanging with us. Hope you guys are learning something new. Again, if you've got questions or comments, hit us up in the chat.
Epic fail. If you want to know who picked out these sick visuals, just know it was me.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So little T does our visuals when we do our stage show. So he's going to pick out a visual, and I'm just going to kind of pick some colors that go along with it, and we'll talk about the different aspects of the lights and what they can do while we go. Oh, this is a cool one. This is a Beeple Crap. All these visuals, or at least most of them, are from Beeple Crap, and he releases his stuff for free, and he does the most awesome visuals. Okay, so I've got, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in these lights here. These are the our automated lights, and they move around, and they change color. We're controlling all these lights with a DMX controller. DMX is the standard lighting control protocol. All the controllers are going to have it, from the cheapest one to the most expensive one. The software that I'm using to control them is actually it's a free software. It's HOG for PC. All the lighting manufacturers release a free version of their software, much like DJ manufacturers, DJ equipment manufacturers. You'll get the free software. It's the hardware that you have to buy. So I've got just basically a USB controller that's got the input out that translates it from the computer to the DMX, which is the proprietary control signal that speaks to the lights that you buy or make. So that's the interface. You can get them inexpensive, or you can get them that are a little bit more expensive, or you can buy the full-on lighting console. But not having the equipment is not something that should stand in the way of you learning how to do this or doing it if it interests you, because the technology is there and it's free. And there's also a cool element that goes along with a lot of these, especially the newer softwares. There's one, Grandma. If you get that software and put it on your computer, it's got a visualizer built in. So you don't even need physical lights in order to make a light show to your favorite music, or to start playing around with 3-point lighting like we were doing earlier, to messing with the different intensities. You have a visualizer, you can put a model of a person and do all this for free with your computer. It's pretty amazing. So now we've got a blue thing that's kind of sort of going with the effect, and we can add in another layer, some green, because this video has a lot of purple and green in it, and now it kind of looks like it's going together. All right, cool. And we're not using a bunch of colors, you know. And when you're collaborating with someone visually, it's the same as collaborating musically. Whereas if Brian starts a song in a certain key, and then I'm trying to come in on my guitar, and I start somewhere else, it's not going to sound good. So Tyler, Little T picked out this video, so I'm not going to come in with something that's going to contrast it. You know, I want to complement what he's doing, and the same thing would be true as if I started with the lighting, then he would probably pick a video that complemented, that matched, that would complement what I'm doing. Okay, so we can try that. Like if I play lights that don't go with it, it's just, you can see that looks like garbage. At least I think it does. You know, it's fun, but it doesn't look near as cool as when things go together. So look at that. Now we've got something that goes together. I'll talk a little bit about the rig right now. What you're seeing, we've got these lights that are flashing green right now are lights that we make, and we just kind of give away the technology. You can make them yourself. It's just a 4-color, red, blue, green, amber chip, and then we just put it in a housing, and then we buy a DMX node. So they're very inexpensive to make compared to these lights, which move around. They've got the exact same LED in them, the exact same one, but they've just got a different housing, and they're actually made by a company, a big company that makes lights for stages and for studios and for this type of thing specifically. You can see them moving around there. You can see the different colors. Blue, green, amber, and we got some red with a white strobe. But what I'm doing is I'm playing back cues right now. And this is stuff that I programmed earlier. How it starts, though, is a cue is an individual state of the lighting system. So right now I'm in a blackout, which is everything at 0. So now when I bring up a cue that I made, there's actually, this is a couple things are happening here. You can see that those are a couple cues that are stacked on top of each other that make them change from one thing to the next. So in lighting terminology, now you know fixtures are instruments. You take your instruments and then you program them into a cue, or you set them into a cue. And then your show consists of cue to cue to cue. You might have a red cue, a blue cue, and this goes back to theater when they were doing lighting for theater shows, and we've carried it over into the other industries. All right, so if I get all of these guys, and then we're going to look at the different colors. Okay, so look, we've got red. All right, these are all the same lights. They've got 4 different colors. Green, blue, amber. You might think, oh, that's pretty simple. But when you take the Greene and you do one thing with them, and then you add in another, all of a sudden you've got some kind of cool lighting music. You got a cool patterns. When you take one lighting state and you link it to another, just like when you're making a loop, we call that a chase. All right, so we have let's see how many steps are in this chase. We've got where's the green one? That one's got 3. All right, and if I go through them step by step, we can see there's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's literally Q1, Q2, Q3. And then when we play the chase, we make it a chase, the cues go one after another. Loop, chase, same thing for lighting as it is for audio. Okay, and the same thing can be true with the automated fixtures. You can make a chase with them, or you can have one state, one cue. And then lighting consoles and controllers, they kind of work like sequencers in a way. So you can choose one thing, and then you play it back on a channel, or you can make that channel do a chase or whatever. But when you're playing back the show, you have to program the console. It won't. You don't just do it live. You figure out what you want, what your color palette's going to be, where the lights are going to be focused. The other thing that we haven't talked about yet is focus. So focus, like we talked about earlier, is where the lights are pointed. So if I grab these lights, let me highlight them, turn them on, we can see they've got tilt. Tilt is up and down, just like a camera. You can see the lights tilting. Can everybody see that? Yeah, up, down. Okay, we've also got left and right. Or left, right. Okay, so we can focus these lights in different places. We can, which makes it look good or bad. And this kind of comes from the days of rock and roll lighting, where they would have big arrays of basically car headlights that would punch through the fog in different patterns and colors. And then again, we've carried that over into electronic music. The thing that attracted me to doing lighting for electronic music eventually is just the energy that goes into it, and it's the most fun, in my opinion, to work with, because you can get a little more crazy with it. So we've talked about focus. We've talked about color. He's got a red visual up, so let's do something red. So so let's make a red cue that matches the visual that little T's got up here. We're gonna take the moving lights. We're gonna turn them on, and we're gonna put them in a cool location, cool focus, and then we want them to be red. How does that look? Still kind of washing it out. I'm not sure if I like the focus either. Let's try that one. But it's too bright though, right? It's too bright. So let's, maybe if we only turn on 2 lights at a time. So no, hold on. Leave it there, T. You're doing great. I want to show people how to make a chase from scratch. All right, so I'm going to pick the top ones. We're going to go at full. And then we're going to record this as the first cue. Whoops. Let me go back to the other page. Okay. So that's our first step in our red chase. Okay, so next we're going to put those at 0, and then we're going to add in the second set. And that'll be our second step. And then those will go out. And then the next set will come on. That's our third step. All right, so now we have to make it a chase. And that depends. I'm not going to go into how to run this software, because that's a whole nother YouTube video, and you might decide that you like Grandma as opposed to Hog. And I like Hog, but most people like Grandma. And there's a couple other options. There's probably more than a couple options of lighting control software out there. So find what suits you, and try to learn a couple different ones, before you settle on it. Okay, so we're gonna go is a chase, and now we're gonna play it back, and it goes automatically from one cue to the next. All right, so now we've got a cool red chase, and now that it's only one at a time, it's not blowing out the screen. It's not too bright.
Let me change the visual.
Okay. Little T's going to change the visual for us, and we'll look at doing something else that will match it.
Should I do that?
No, do another one of the Beeple ones. Yeah, like Moon one. Moon one's good. Okay, cool. This is another Beeple crowd visual. What's it called, Tyler? Moon Virus. All right, if you want to download this, Beeple crap, Moon Virus. Really cool stuff. Okay, so we've probably got some stuff already programmed that we could use with this. Let's see. There we go. Look at that. So now I've got the lights strobing, and it kind of goes with the jittery video animation. And then let's find another blue. It's almost too much blue. So we could add in something that contrasts a little bit, just to give it a little pop. Sometimes you don't want it to be all just one color. That actually looks good. Sometimes it can kind of blow out the camera when you get all in one color and you don't have enough variation. I try to pick one or two, and then with the music, you can go between them. Okay, so at this point, we're going to talk about, now that we know what the lights are called, and we know what a lighting board basically is, and we know that there's cues and chases, and then that's what we're going to play back during our show, are the cues and the chases. We're not just like randomly plugging lights and doing stuff. We've got cues, we've got chases, and now we're going to actually listen to some music. Little T is also known as DJ Funk Pumpy, and he has an original track, and we're going to, we've already programmed some lights for him before because we do a lot of live streaming, but we're going to show you guys kind of how we make it go with the music, and take it from there. So this is DJ Funk Puppy is going to play a song right now. Okay, so we'll turn off the visuals for this and just focus on the lighting. Okay, so I've got a page already made for Funk Puppy. So we've got a Greene up and down chase going. That's kind of our bass lick. And then I've got some other stuff, little twinkles with the static lights. So like I said, you don't have to use more than a couple things. And you don't have to use everything at full intensity. Feel free to make it dark. One thing you see with, I would say with bad lighting is it can be too dark, it also can be too bright. You need negative space in order to differentiate one thing to the next thing. And you can have the best fog and the best lights in the world, but if they're all on at the same time, you're still not going to see any beams. So I'll try to hit some of these little accents. There's something fading in there, so maybe I'll add in some orange here when I hear that riff kind of playing with the vocals. I think that green and orange is a good color for this song for some reason. They contrast. got a good thing going on now. You can sit like this, or you can make some subtle changes. Maybe you want to fade out that one set. Just let this roll through, and then cue up another look with them. See, now it dropped out. We're back in the drums. Okay, that was great. Yeah, play another song, and we'll look at some other things. We'll kind of talk through about the lights are going. Okay, great. He's gonna play something that's a little more high speed.
Okay, let's go.
This is Funk Puppy's latest original track. It'll be available on all the streaming services next week. So I was a little early there. But if you bring a cue up too fast, just act like you meant to do it. Now I'm kind of running behind, so I'm going to just slam that in. So now we've got this green chase going on, and then we've got the moving lights kind of wiggling around behind it. Now I told you before that these lights have the same LED chip, but they don't have the same lens. So you've got the exact same emitter, two different lenses. You can see these lights, the green ones, they're much wider. You know, they give a very wide beam that kind of lights up the fog, whereas the moving lights have this like pencil, narrow beam that shoots through the smoke. You can find lights with different beams at the hardware store. They might not be colored, but you know, that's one of the things to especially consider when you're designing lighting is the beam spread or the beam angle. That's how much spread there is. There you can see the beams a little bit more. A beam that doesn't spread hardly at all would be a laser. So there you can see we have lasers. See, they don't hardly spread out at all. That's like even more narrow than LEDs. And that can be another element. So this looks cool, right? We got some lights flying around. We'll add that back in. Now let's see if I turn on, like, I make too much happening now. I mean, it's a lot going on, but we don't have anywhere to go. It's too much. Yeah, it's not going with the music when we have too much going on. So you keep it simple, and then now look, I can go between this. Go between a couple different lights. You're still using all the features, but you're just not using them all at the same time. So next time you're at your favorite concert, look for the lighting guy. You know, he's probably running the lights manually. Most people still do it that way. Now there's another way to do it, and that's to program your lights to go with the music. It's possible to use MIDI notes or time code to run your show in sync, or to use your DJ rig to trigger your lighting board. It has to be set up a lot in advance, and so you lose the live element of it, but what you gain is the ability to do very, very detailed and intricate things with your rig that you might not be able to do on the fly, or you might not have the forethought or the amount of fingers that you need in order to play it back. See if there's any questions. If you guys have any questions, now's the time to ask. got the lasers going, and we've got the green lights going. Now I can change these to purple. So with lighting, just like in music, you want to have somewhere to go. You want to be able to build. And it's just practice with knowing the music. Just like any other thing in life, you gotta learning the software. It's really not rocket science. Lighting is a very, very easy thing to do, but it's very rewarding, very fun, and it adds a lot to your show. It's really a lot of times the difference between people sticking around and not is you can have music will keep people on the dance floor, but if you've got that whole environment, it'll keep them there all night. They won't want to leave. You know, we say the analogy moth to a flame a lot in lighting. It's very true. You want to have a good environment. There's lighting can be very expensive, but it doesn't have to be. One of the coolest lighting rigs that we did, we only had like I think 4 lights that could change color, and then we had a bunch of blue Christmas lights behind. And the Christmas lights made this soft blue glow throughout the event that they looked like stars and people just wanted to be there. And we bought the Christmas lights when they're on sale. There's also a lot of secondhand equipment, but a lot of it's not in good shape. So you want to be careful about if you're getting into lighting. A lot of ways. The best way to get into lighting, in my experience, is to offer your services for free at a club or somewhere, because usually the lighting guy that's there is underpaid and overworked and would be very happy for someone to give them a break. And I'm doing this with 2 buttons right now. It's certainly not rocket science. If you have any background at all in music, you'll be able to pick it up just fine. Because a lot of lighting guys, let me tell you, we didn't have a background in music, and we learned that secondhand. So learn it. It's fun, and it's really rewarding to have something that you can control and create. That can be expressive. Another thing that I think is really cool about lighting is it's subjective. It's not an objective thing. Whereas like and it can be good and bad. Like when you're building something physically, like this a house or a little stage even. It matters that it's built right so it doesn't fall over. And there's a wrong way to do it. If you build it and it falls down, then that's the wrong way. Whereas lighting is if it was pink and someone thought it should have been blue, that might have been okay. So it's really about expressing yourself. It's about being creative and being expressive. You pick the colors that you like, but make it so it complements the music and the other things that are going on. But don't be afraid to add your piece. One of the lighting guys that taught me said, sometimes you just have to reach up and hit a button. And if you do that in time with the music, you're on. So when you run lights to music, just like other stuff, follow the music. Pay attention to if you watch the DJing videos from earlier today, you know when the song is phrased and you know when the changes are supposed to happen, and so you can map that with your lighting as well. And like I said before, it's not rocket science. You're just anticipating the changes, and if you're working with a DJ or you're working with another musical artists, and you've rehearsed and you practice and you know. You can anticipate that even more. You know the music, and so you can flow with it even better. And your practice will make the performance even more valuable to you when it happens. And with technology, nowadays I've even seen guys doing entire light shows to their favorite songs without even having to rig at all. They're using the visualizer, like I was talking about earlier. If you want to know more about that, you can go to, if you just search for Hog or lighting control, Hog PC, or you search for Grand MA, like Grandma, Grand MA. Those are the two big ones. Avo Lights has a good one too, AVO LITES. They're a European company. And they've got a visualizer built into their software too, I believe. Just get on there, and there's lots of good YouTube videos about how to learn that software and how to make it do what you want it to do. If you have more questions, you can hit me up. I'm gonna throw out our social media. It's at RTG Show. You can go to rtgshow.com, and if you click on the live, that's where you can see our live streaming. We're constantly inviting guest DJs over here, and then during the quarantine, we actually had DJs submit mixes. Brian sent a couple mixes. Adam, DJ Spaceballs, sent a mix, and then we ran lights to a never heard before mix in real time and had a party in cyberspace, and it was cool. It was a way for us to continue to express ourselves and come together and keep in line with the rules and regulations at the time. So please go to we have a YouTube channel as well. It's Richard Tyler Greene Live, I think it is, or RT Greene Live or something. You can look at the links from the website. If you go to rtgshow.com, everything's on there, and we'd appreciate you following us on social media and keeping up with us. And if you want to learn more, hit me up on there, and I'll gladly do another class on a specific topic. I'd like to say a big thank you, huge thank you to Brian Chang, who personally heads up DMI and put all this together. Took the time out of many days to sit with us ahead of time and figure out how we would make this go as seamlessly and look professional as possible. He's a great dude, and he really loves music. Almost, if not more than I do, which is a lot. Also like to thank Make Music Day. I'd like to thank Little T, all the dads out there spending time with their sons. Good on ya. Whatever it is you're doing, just be there. And Little Tyler has a couple words, and then he's going to play his last track out of here, and we're going to jam out.
All right. The next, I'm not going to be talking about the next song I'm going to play because it's a surprise. And if we are going to do another class, that's not Make Music Day, especially for that thing. It's just a class. I'm going to want to do some of my own classes too. I'm going to want to talk to Dad about that and see if he'll let me do it, because it's going to be all about the visuals, the music, and I'm going to teach you when to drop the visuals, how to drop the visuals, and just, learn.
Thank you, Lil T, DJ Funk Puppy. Let's play us out of here.